Hello everybody and welcome into the 2024 PGR eSports Fall Brawl live at the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Joining me in the booth here tonight, a little bit of a last minute substitution. Matthew Baker, normally race control, but he'll be doing the double here tonight, as again he will join us as co-host. Baker, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Looks like we got an alliance going between three of the best super speedway drivers on the service, and Garrett, Kyler, and Malik. So look for them to be working together. But this is going to be another crazy one. $500 to win. We've got 46 cars that are going to be taking the grid tonight. Going to be a lot of fun. Some extra payouts that are going out. We got a sponsor from one of the new series starting up, R&R. Thanks to James Wagner and those boys. So they donated $100 here tonight, and we'll go over those bonuses soon.
Yeah, a lot of money and a lot of new changes that will be implemented here tonight. We'll get more into those once we get into the racing. But let's kick things off here tonight with your starting grid. Alex Hill takes the pole in the 2024 Fall Brawl. Back as of recent, puts down a 52.146 here tonight to grab that first starting position. Ethan Eckert will start to his outside in second. It's going to be the Canadian driver Kyler Wynn back in third. Garrett Maines to his outside in fourth. Cody Nagels alongside Malik Ray. Those two will be back in row number 3. Dylan Basin back in 7th with John Ellis Jr. in 8th. Matt Lee in 9th, and Ken McCullough Jr. rounds out your top 10.
And in 10th, we've got Devin Ray, Landon Bellicky in 12th for Nightmare Esports, John Mollahan for McCullough Motorsports in 13th, Jared Haynes 14th for The Shack with Trevor Ausernoth and Chris Walker, all teammates lined up side by side. And then 17th, you've got Joshua McCullough, Christopher Carter in 18th, Christopher Melton for that R&R. Look for him to come to the front pretty early. He's really good in this car, just hasn't got the finish that he wants. 20th is Logan York.
Moving on back to 21st, there'll be Chandler Parsons in the 72 machine. Brock Westmoreland to his outside in 22nd. Dalton Steele back in 23rd. Jeff Merck to his outside in 24th. Chase Mistretta and Freddie Bosnez make up row number 13. It's Michael Miller. Brian Hennings back in row 14. And you've got Axel Smith 29th. Francisco Villarreal rounds out the top 30.
31st, you've got Mike Davenport. 32nd, Evan Carlborn. Sierra Clampert in 33rd. Jonathan Herbert in 34th. Larry McDonald in 35th. Mel Lurch in 36th. James Wagner 37th. 38th, Quentin Steinbach, one of the newer faces out here. Michael Triscaro, series owner, 39th. And 40th, Kevin Winker.
Daniel Falkingham, the Coke Series driver, starts 41st. Dylan Jones, 42nd. Nashville back in 43rd with Connor Cunningham, 44th. Tucker McClendon, 45th. And Austin B. Floyd rounds out the field. He will start in 46th. Taking a look at your race info here tonight. Again, it's the 2024 PGR eSports Fall Brawl presented by James Wagner Welding. We are on the Gen 6 cars. 80 laps will be the distance. 100% fuel, unlimited sets of tires. You do have a fast repair here tonight, something a little different from the last couple weeks. Fixed setups and 3 green-white checkers if we were to need them. Track temp starting here tonight in the 80s. Weather outside in the 80s as well. A beautiful day in the sim to go racing. And we are ready to see who will be crowned a Fall Brawl champion. Pace car makes a left turn. Field will be led into the Geico restart zone by Alex Hill and Ethan Eckert. Here we go. In 2024, we have got a lot of big events, and it starts right here with the Fall Brawl. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Talladega. Lap 1 in the books, and it goes to the 8, actually the 12 car rather, of Ethan Eckert. iRacing, though, scores him as the 8 car here tonight. As you see the 48 already making moves up to the top. You're going to see a lot of aggressive moves out of the 18 of Alex Hill, actually you're going to see it out of a couple drivers, but Alex Hill, one that, really this Gen 6 car, I think this is the first time he's had the race in these cars. You know how aggressive he likes to be. We'll see how it works out for him here tonight. Nightmare eSports going to be split up, as will a lot of the other teams. We'll tell you about that rule here in just a little bit. But right now, how about this? 3x3 through majority of the packet. All that 3-wide racing, Baker, has allowed this 3-car trio up front to start to pull away. Can Garrett, Alex Hill, and Malik Ray maybe stretch a lead on the rest of the field?
Yeah, huge push there from the bottom side. You saw Hill get in line with Garrett with a great move to the middle. They all got tandem up and started pushing away as Eckert went to the bottom. Now Eckert's pushing Cody Nagels up. If they get 5 cars in a line and these guys keep drafting 3x3, we saw it in R&R on Sundays, which we're looking to broadcast here coming up on Wednesdays in a couple weeks. That'll be fun. But we saw 5 cars were able to pull away from the pack when they were side drafting 3 wide.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things some people love, some people hate about this Gen 6 Series car, but either way, it allows for some big runs, and these things are a blast. Up front, still single file, but that second group has quickly merged back into one massive group. Leading the way, though, is still Garrett Maines in the 1 car. Malik Ray second in the 5 machine. Ethan Eckert back in 3rd. Kyler Wynn is 4th. And here comes that second group. The top is usually the place to be in these Gen 6 cars. And watch out, Cody Nagels drafting with his teammate Alex Hill. You see the 14 trying to make something happen up there as well. And man, I look at some of these names, and I'll tell you what, I look at John Ellis Jr. Watch out, trouble out back. Ozerov back up the track. Huge wreck into turn number 2. Caution is out for the first time here tonight. And we have got a melee here as multiple drivers come to a sliding halt. Trevor Ozrenov all torn up. Now we will be seeing some fast repairs get taken early. Looks like Trevor will be able to get back rolling in that 89 machine, but again, major damage to his car. Tucker McClendon a little bit slow as well. Can't exactly see where he's got damage at yet. It doesn't look to be too bad from that view. Noah Lurch, he got back rolling as well. Some of these cars may have been guys that just decided to go a little bit slow just to make sure that they didn't actually get involved in the incident. Of course, we saw Ozrenov not so lucky. He did get involved and got quite a bit of damage at that. And looking for everybody else, though, I see him on the scoring tower, not so much up here. So let's go back and actually break it down for you. Trevor Ozrenov, who was back at 37th, was the first car that gets shot out of line. And we'll watch it first here from the TV3 shot, as I think it's just going to be either a stack up or somehow this 89 car is going to get hit in the back. Watch the 74 Brian Hennings just behind him. Maybe a little bit of a stack up. Trevor bobbles up. Next thing you know, the 74 is there. And man, that happened so quick that, I mean, for the 74 Hennings, I don't know if he ever really had a chance to try to react. Not sure, again, if Trevor had some sort of checkup, or did he hit the apron maybe? Watch it in slow motion. See the 89 right there. He's okay there. And then he sees the 2. His teammate Devin Ray hit the apron. Kind of follows. Does bump the apron. That shoots the car up. And I don't know if he had to bail out of the throttle just a little bit to save it, or if that little bit of a wash-up just lost that much momentum that quick. But, I mean, man, for Brian Hennings, he just really didn't have much, if any, time to react. And then as Osronoff comes back up the track, that's where it collects a bunch of them. Matt Lee, Ken McCullough Jr. Saw Jeff Merck get in there. He had nowhere to go. Here's the 16 sliding in late. It's Jared Haynes. So a lot of cars that were kind of just hanging around, taking it easy, trying to get a feel for these cars involved in this one. And for Trevor Osronoff here, watch when he gets turned. It's just such a hard save to make when you get turned around like that. You know, you're going down the banking so fast, and the saying is kind of what goes down must come back up, at least when it comes to super speedway racing. And man, that one is huge. Show you this again here from a couple different angles. This was for Ken McCullough Jr., who had a pretty good shot in this one. He's going to try to go up high, but just can't miss it. And gets tagged a couple times. That'll break the suspension on these cars very easy. You know, me and Baker were just talking about the other night. The only downside, at least in my mind... Ooh, see the 22 slide in late right there. The only downside of these cars, at least in my mind, is they're kind of like paper mache. I mean, so easy to break, especially the suspension components that... When you hit the outside wall with the left or right front, and you're pretty much going to have to go in with a meatball. And once it happens, obviously, there's nothing you can do. But the good news, and we mentioned this earlier, but you got to remember tonight, different than what it's been the last couple weeks, fast repair is back in order. So drivers will not be out of it just yet, just because they were involved in that incident. You do have that one fast repair, but if you don't have to take it, obviously the preference is to not. All right, so back up front we go. Just 6 of 80 laps in the books, and it's Jonathan Herbert currently being scored as your leader. Matt Lee there, I don't think he fell a lap down. We'll see if he gets the free pass, though, right here. And then just behind him is the 49, Chris Melton. That's a really, really good-looking paint scheme for Chris Melton here tonight. In fact, looks like he may have the sponsor on the hood. Indeed, he does. James Wagner's Welding, again, sponsor of the 2024 Fall Brawl. We appreciate James Wagner for all he does for PGR. And as Baker mentioned earlier, we're excited to go over to the Roughneck Racing Money League that is going to be starting on Wednesdays, I believe next week. It's going to be a similar setup to what we saw in their Sunday Night Madness races, which they had one last Sunday. That was a blast. I believe they have one again this Sunday. So make sure that you go check those out if you get a chance. Garrett Main's back in 3rd. Malik Gray currently sitting in 4th. And there's Daniel Falkingham, who has already made up 35 positions from where he started this race at. He currently rounds out your top 5. We see a lot of them peel back down the pits. What do you make of this, Baker?
Well,
I thought we saw a lot. Looks like a couple of them actually bail back out. I take that back.
You watch Malik there. I don't know what that...
Yeah, it looked like, couldn't tell if he... I saw him go through the grass as kind of a late decision to not actually pit, but I don't know if, did he get into the commitment cone? What happened here? Let's see. We'll go to the chopper view here. Watch the 5 of Malik. Looks like he's bringing it down. Gets past the first commitment cone, but never gets to that second one, which is where I believe it counts you in the pit. So I don't think he'll get a penalty for that, but that's certainly a really late decision there from Malik Ray to decide to stay out. And it is 100% fuel tonight, so these cars, I believe, and Baker, do correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think they could go probably somewhere around 40 laps or so.
Yeah, it looks like we're full tank, so it's going to be around 39 to 40 laps, I think. I haven't ran a full tank in this car in a long time, but I think it's around 40.
And as we get ready to go back green, one thing to note on these cars that makes them so different is that massive duckbill spoiler that you see on the back of all these race cars. And I mean, it's so massive that they had to put clear plexiglass in the spoiler just so drivers could see out of the rear view mirror. But that provides a whole bunch of downforce, at least down the straights and even in the corners. I mean, these cars are really, really planted. But the other thing that does is create those big drafts that we see in the big runs that drivers are able to get because it punches such a big hole in the air. And so that's going to continue to be the case here tonight, as we're going to see a lot of big runs. But at the same time, we saw that if you get organized correctly and everybody else gets racing out back, you can pull away from a pack. We'll see if they're able to do it again here. But again, it'll be 8 of 80 laps complete. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. We're watching the 2024 PGR eSports Fall Brawl, presented by James Wagner's Welding. So here we go. The pace car going to make the left turn. Jonathan Herbert, big opportunity tonight. He's got a couple of fellow Asphalt Outlaw Racing drivers in the field, including Kevin Winker, who we saw miss that last wreck, still running a little bit further back in the 42 machine. We'll see if we're calling his name in a little bit. Let's see if the aggression picks up or decides to calm down. They'll roll into the tribal as they get back into the 2x2 formation. Everybody going to shift down into second gear. They'll tighten it back up. And here we go. Back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. 8 of 80 laps complete at Talladega, and it's a good restart for the 87 of Jonathan Herbert. He's immediately going to work his way to the high side of the racetrack. And man, at a lot of tracks, we would say that was a perfect restart. Here at Talladega, maybe too good of a restart. He's going to have to back up now to the front bumper, rather, of the 49 of Chris Melton. Chris will get there, a couple of big shots. Alex Hill trying to get these two tandemed up. Can't quite make it happen, though, that time. Garrett Maines, Malik Ray trying to tandem away as they race out back for second.
It's a big push on the inside line. 4 really good cars, 5 really good cars. Count them, starting with Cody Nagels, Kyler Wynn, Ethan Eckert, Malik Ray, Garrett Maines, all pushing the bottom side. Seeing how much time they can make, see if they can make pace and break away from the pack. That's oh man, around.
Trouble on the front stretch, caution. And we got a couple still spinning on the racetrack. Oh, big hit. Oh man, another big hit. The 16 of Jared Haynes and his teammate Trevor Ozernoth not able to miss that one. And the struggles for the Jack Shack continue early. Man, that's 2 wrecks. And in both of them, Jared Haynes and Trevor Ozernoth were collected. I believe that Trevor obviously used his fast spare in the last one. I'm not sure how bad his damage is, but if Haynes has got one, he's certainly going to have to use it in this one. Big hit for the 16. The front end completely ripped off of that race car. So these two will stay out here to try to go catch the field before they actually make that stop. Went down pit road there to avoid the wreck, not so much to actually pit. Let's go back and look at it here. You saw Herbert, the 87, first car to go around. I'm not sure what exactly got him turned around. I thought he was in a pretty good position here on the inside, but, or excuse me, on the outside, but, you know, as much as we talk about you can push a lot in these cars, doesn't mean that you can do anything. And if you get too far offset, there will be a consequence. And here you go. Ooh, I think that what happens right there is that the 49 of Chris Melton gets a shot from out back from Alex Hill. That gets him a little offset. And then, I mean, at that point, Alex is just on his bumper. It doesn't really give Chris much of a chance to get off of Herbert. And just kind of pushes him right into the left rear. That's a really, really tough break, especially since Melton really wasn't trying to do that here. But watch it. See if we can get you a shot that's a little bit closer right here on the zoomed in view. So you see Alex Hill. He's the 3rd car in line. Watch as he's going to come up here. And notice right on the right side of your screen, he's going to give a shot to the back of the 49. It's right there. And as he gives him a shot, gets that 49 a little offset. And then that shot is what really sends him into him. And that ultimately turns that 87 around. Again, watch it nice and slow. We're going to actually show you here one more time from the chopper view. See if I can exactly show you when he makes that contact. So watch the 48 of Hill. He's trying to help these 3, but the problem is right here. Melton's a little bit offset. Alex is going to give him maybe just a little bit of a shot right here. He gets a little bit more offset, and then at this point, you got to back off. You're just too offset. But when Alex gives him a little shot, he gets the 49 into the left rear of Jonathan Herbert. And then from here, it's going to be nothing Herbert can do. You see the 2 of Devin Ray. He got spun. Not sure if he gets hit. As Herbert goes for a slide, a little bit of contact there on the front nose. I think he'll be okay. He's just going to get that fixed manually without any major issue. And then we saw Devin Ray go spinning. Again, not sure, did he get any other damage here? Let's see. And he gets turned back on the racetrack. Car goes for a couple loop-de-loops. And no, everybody was able to miss him. Nice job, man. That could have been a lot well. I said everybody was able to miss him. I guess not. Jared Haynes was actually the one collected at the end of that, which led to the contact between him and Trevor Ozernoth. So, man, that was really a bad one for the Jack Shack, as they didn't have not one, not 2, but 3 cars get involved in a wreck that they didn't start. And, man, right there for Haynes, just breaks the suspension. Nothing he can do. And Ozernoth, who, of course, had already committed, there was nothing he could do either. It's just really, really bad situation. And you'll see Jared goes down here. Trevor commits low. Jared's trying everything to turn to try to miss Devin, but as that 2 car starts to roll back down the track, there's just not enough time. And right there, look at the car get up in the air. So Ozernoth piles in with nowhere to go. We'll give you one more look at that here from the pit lane cam. Actually, let's go back a little bit further here. Watch it again. We'll go to the drone cam instead. There's the spin for Devin Ray and Jonathan Herbert. Everybody misses. And here comes the on-rushing Jared Haynes. Big hit. So that's what brings out your second caution of the night as we go back live up front. Looks like Cody Nagels is now being scored as your leader with 10 of 80 laps complete. Garrett Maines is second. Malik Ray back in third. Kyler Wynn fourth. And John Ellis Jr. currently rounding out your top five. Brian Hennings, he's up 22 spots from where he started this race at. He currently 6th and 6th. John Mullahan back in 7th. Chris Walker 8th. Ethan Eckert in 9th. And Dalton Steele currently rounds out your top 10. Boy, what would a win mean for Dalton Steele? This is a guy that kind of see from time to time, but the driver out of Crooksville, Ohio. This would be a massive win tonight if Steele could find a way to get to victory lane. It'd be his first PGR win. Don't count him out of it. Joshua McCullough back in 11th. He's up 6th from where he started. You're looking at some of the other big movers. You look back to Michael Triscaro, who's up 25 spots from where he started this race at. Some of the drivers may be going in the wrong direction. Down 21 from where he started is Matt Lee. Now, of course, he was involved in that first incident. Devin Ray, after being involved in that last incident, now down 23 from where he started. Alex Hill's back 35 spots from where he started. So a lot of mix-up here in the early going. A lot of drivers that still have to try to make their way back to the front. And again, you've got plenty of time to do it. It's a very, very long race. But the problem is, and we've seen this before in multiple different series, when you start getting these cautions, they tend to breed more cautions. And if you get yourself buried for too long, it just seems like it's so difficult to get back to the front at some point. And we'll have to see how they decide to go about it. But there's a couple of your driver cams here tonight. Michael Triscaro and Trevor Oswald. Trevor not looking too excited right now, and you can't blame him. After being involved in the last two incidents, he's ready for a little bit of good luck here. We'll have to see if he was able to get it fixed up and turn it around here. We're getting ready to go back green, and Baker, this changes up the strategy maybe just a little bit, but I mean, I think it's still a solid one-stop if, they make it to about lap 50?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be a one-stop race here from here on out. So I think track position is key. Just like we talked about, hopefully we get some green flag laps in here, get some hard racing towards the end.
Absolutely. All right, pace car going to make the left turn. And so as it'll go back down to the pits, we'll try this again. See if we can get some green flag laps in here in the 2024 PGR eSports Fall Brawl, presented by James Wagner's Welding. Cody Nagels, Garrett Maines will lead him back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. 12 of 80 laps complete at Talladega.
Big move on the outside. Cody Nagels going to get up in front of Garrett Maines. Though, as soon as Garrett and Kyler get clear, they're going to drop to the bottom and try and go right by Cody. He's just going to have to control that line there in the middle with the push from Garrett Maines on the outside. But that inside lane forming up pretty nicely. They've got 5 cars under a blanket. You could really throw a blanket over the top 20 here. As you see someone out there trying to go 3 wide, not really able to get that run that they're accustomed to right now. I think the lower track temp is helping that middle bottom lane roll early here, but good to see some nice clean racing here through this first lap. Hopefully we can make it a couple more.
Yeah, the bottom lane certainly looked more organized, but it was really the top that somehow had all the momentum down the backstretch. They got 3 cars clear. Cody through Kyler. They were all able to drop down, and as they single file out now, this is what you keep an eye on, is all the double file racing out back. These guys start to get into too much side drafting, too much 3-wide racing. That's how you can get these packs separated. But it looks like a lot of them now are starting to bail to the bottom. There goes Kevin Winker. James Wagner in the 30. He might look to do the same here. Not going to take it. He'll stay up top for now, so they stay 2 by 2 as they all kind of snake and fishtail down the back straightaway. But it's Cody Nagels who leads up front, getting pushed by the one of Garrett Maines. Kyler Wynn just behind them. And man, if you look for 3 guys, and it's interesting because not one of them are on the same team as the other, but if you look for 3 drivers that when they get locked on, they're going to go, I think it's these 3 that we've got up front. And now, Baker, they're starting to try to get this single file line to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, single file line now. Looks like big pushes here on the bottom. They're giving incident point contacts because they are just absolutely shoving through each other. I mean, look here, 203. Let's check it down the backstretch as they come around 1 and 2, single filed out like we talked about. You see people side drafting there in the second, and they're starting to lose that first pack. First pack starting to drift away. Watch this push from Garrett Maines, hitting 200 now. 201, he could be hot. Yeah, he's definitely cooking on temps. Last time down the backstretch, they were going 207. So if you're able to form up and keep your temps under you, you're able to absolutely fly here.
Yeah, absolutely flying. We saw 203 right there into turn 3, and You mentioned that cooler track temp. Another thing that can do is help these temps last a little bit longer. Now, of course, Garrett's already been pushing long enough where that's not going to be a factor anymore. But if we get a short restart at the end, or even in general when it comes to managing temps, a cooler track temp, again, is going to help let you manage those for a little bit longer than maybe you usually would, if you will. Now, further back in this pack, looks like things do continue to separate. In fact, Francisco Villarreal, the last car in that lead pack, Christopher Carter leading that second group. And they must have been taking notes about the last couple races because they're trying to single file out. But, oh, man, a couple of them scattering out back. Oh, one around. That's Tucker McClendon in the 31. Caution is out as the 31 goes around. For Tucker here, he's going to be okay if he doesn't get hit. And he doesn't. 31's okay, but again, it's just that chaos that's stirred up towards the back half of the field. And for Tucker here, trying to make sure he was okay. Yep, sure enough he is, so he'll be okay. No big deal here, but for the 31, let's see what happened here. As we'll go back and see, Tucker was running kind of in the back of this group right here. He's got the 97 up top, and as they come off the corner, there's a big checkup. You see James Wagner stacking up. Matt Lee has to check up as well. And then the contact's going to occur. Oh, man, that was a brutal netcode.
Terrible netcode.
Oh, my goodness. Off the 97. Watch, these two aren't even close to each other. They're not even moving towards each other either. The 31 is holding a straight line. Watch the car shoot dead left straight into the 30 of Wagner. That was really, really lucky to not take out Wagner. And then if you actually notice the lane below that netcode's the 4 car of Freddie Bosnez, who's not even, again, even in the vicinity here. Almost turns him around. That was a wild-looking incident. Certainly don't see too many quite that extreme. Watch it again from the straight-on view. Boom! Man, just shoots that 31 car sideways. Nothing Tucker could do, but again, overall, not that bad for what it certainly could have been, at least based off where he spun at. Right there, and then just goes for a slide. He's going to have a little bit of contact here with the outside wall, but he hits it kind of at an angle where he doesn't really hit the wall as much as he just kind of drags across it. And then rolls back down. Everybody else was able to roll by on the inside and the outside. Gets it pointed back in the right direction. He'll continue on without any further incident. So a tough break for McClendon in terms of how the incident happened. Some netcode that he really didn't cause, neither did the other guy, but again, a very, very good break right there and a lucky save. The 37 of Tucker, excuse me, the 31 of Tucker McClendon. So as he comes to a halt, that'll be a pretty short replay. We know what that one was. And so as we go back live now, pit stops underway. Garrett Maines is going to lead him out. Nice job by Garrett to lead everybody out of the pits as you see the rest of the field now working their way into their box and out of their boxes. Looks like there goes the 25 of Dylan Jones for Freddie Bosnez. Here comes James Wagner along with Trevor Osrenoth. You see the 71 is there as well.
Well, we got a break in the action here. Let's talk to our last week's winner, Garrett Maines, see what he's thinking on this next restart. Hey, Garrett. It is Matt and Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you guys are doing well, keeping your track position. You got Kyler and Malik with you. How do you approach this restart now that you have some people staying out? And what was the call to pit there? Are you looking to take less fuel on the next stop, or just trying to mix up the strategy to pull everyone down pit road?
Well, it was a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, it was about 2.5 gallons we had to put in it. So, I mean, we knew that we were going to jump Cody no matter what happened there. And then, we don't want to be on the short end of it at the end of the race. I mean, green, white, checkered fuel was kind of a concern there because if you were leading, it was going to be really, really close. So, I think that's just the safer strategy. We have a fast repair tonight. So, hopefully we just get through this and get back to the front. I mean, I feel like as long as we get a good start and stay out of the chaos, we'll be fine tonight.
Absolutely. Staying out of the chaos is key here in the Gen 6, but it's really hard to avoid because this car is a ton of fun, and it's 3 lanes of good action and 4 lanes hopefully towards the end. Hope to see you at the end, Garrett.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, there you go. Garrett Maines. So far, so good for him. He's looking, I believe, Baker, if I'm not mistaken, is he the defending Fall Brawl winner? And I guess he went to go do some race control stuff for just a moment.
Yeah, sorry. I was talking to Axel Smith, asking why he wasn't the lucky dog, telling him he had a contact there. That's why he wasn't able to get the lucky dog.
No worries. I was just saying, I believe, unless I missed something, wasn't Garrett the defending Fall Brawl winner?
Garrett is the defending Fall Brawl winner.
So there you go.
That was in the truck, and now we are in the Gen 6, which is a totally different car.
Yeah, but hey, momentum's momentum. We'll see if he can make it back-to-back Fall Brawl championships to see how things pan out for him. By the way, as we're getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, let's head back here and take a look at some of the drivers that are carrying onboard views for us here tonight. And so we'll go back and start things here with, of course, we showed Trevor Osenoth earlier. He's in the pit still getting some of that damage, I believe, fixed up, or he may have gotten it all fixed by now. But he's still got a lot of work to do. However, he has won in these cars before here in PGR. So for Trevor Osenoth, do not count him out just because he's got a bit of a mountain to climb here. Certainly not impossible. Still a lot of time, a lot of things that can happen. And then we go a little bit further up to Evan Carlbahn. Looks like tonight he's running the 14 Wonder Bread machine, or excuse me, Burger King machine. But he's kind of got that Wonder Bread style throwback, if you will. And we'll see. He's looking for a good run here tonight. Michael Triscaro for NBG Motorsports. Right now, as it stands, he's got himself a little bit further back. Not too far back, but he might be working with Jeff Merck here tonight, I would think. As, of course, Baker up here in the booth with us. And there's the PGR 500 logo on the green and black paint scheme for that 34 car here tonight. And then the other one, last but certainly not least, carrying an onboard view for us here tonight, Jeff Merck, who, as it stands right now, looks like currently has himself sitting in, well, that first spot. I mean, what a better place to be. I should say, what better place to be than in the lead here. And then Alex Hill will take the front row back to green. So Jeff Merck looking to return to victory lane in a championship event here tonight. We'll see if he can get the job done. As those, again, are your drivers that are carrying onboard views for us here tonight. So it'll be 19 of 80 laps now complete. That pushes the pit stop back to closer to around lap 60. So you still can't make it all the way, at least not on the fuel tank you got, but it's certainly a pretty set in stone one stop, maybe a little bit of strategy in the play, but certainly a one-stop strategy for most of the field. All right, here we go. The 48 of Alex Hill on the inside, the 60 of Jeff Merck on the outside. Green flag back in the air, a little bit further back. Ethan Eckert not quite able to get on the loud pedal in the number 12 car. Oh, and you always get worried that that's going to cause a stack up. Looks like Eckert's quickly going to jump low, though. You saw Mike Davenport was able to make the adjustment, and now back up front, they are 2x2. Landon Velicki in the 62 for Nightmare eSports, one of the drivers that will be fighting for a championship in Tuesday Night Thunder, doing all the pushing on the outside. But here we go. Third lane's going to get formed up. Nash Brambilla takes everybody up top. He's getting pushed by Garrett Maines and Nagels, but look at the run that Landon Velicki is given to Jeff Merck right now. They pushed over 200 miles an hour, working off into turn 3, and the rest of the field is still trying to catch these two.
I mean, absolutely cooking with the tandem draft. It's so much fun to watch with everyone side drafting behind. How long can they hold on there? Flying away. Awesome. It looks like shades of Clint Boyer and Jeff Burton coming to the finish, back in 20, I think it was 11. Oh, almost wrecking. Oh, out of shape there on the bottom side. 3 wide as they're trying to track down these 2 leaders. And there they go.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not the way to do it. Oh, my goodness. Big wreck. One up in the catch fence. That's Chris Walker. The 23 machine finally back down on all 4. And he'll slide down the racetrack as well. Michael Triscaro is also involved in the 34. You see him trying to get back rolling. Walker's car is destroyed. I don't even know if this thing's going to make it back to the pits. Another hit to the outside wall. He's got no right front suspension here. So he's going to try. Looks like the back tires are still spinning. And I'll tell you what, I've been in this spot as a driver. If it can roll back to the pits, you'll do anything you can to get it there, even if that means hitting the walls on the way there, because that tow bill is just too expensive to pay. But for the 23, this is going to be a long, painful trip if he can even get there. Not sure if the car is even able to turn at this point. But he's going to try his best to limp it back either way. So Walker, certainly one of the drivers that got the worst of this one, but not the only driver involved. You see Trevor Osenoth right there. Maybe waiting out back to see if his teammate was going to need a little assistance here. As Walker's trying everything he can to get that car back to the pits. He's just got no steering, though. We'll have to see if he's able to make it. But while we wait on that, let's go back and see where this one goes wrong. I mean, they were a mess further back. It was not just 3 wide. They were 4 wide here for quite a bit of the pack. And watch, as they're 4 wide, you got one on the apron there. Looks like, I believe, is that the 17 machine? Looks like it is. And I was trying to figure out, I think that's Christopher Carter. We'll get confirmation on that. That doesn't look like that really is part of the incident, though. And yeah, that was Chris Carter. He gets below it all, so he actually gets really, really lucky here to not get involved. You saw Chandler Parsons in the 72, so it starts watch the 4 of Brock Westerlund and the 4 of Freddie Bosnez, and then we'll go back here and kind of show you the 23 of Chris Walker. And so watch as Brock's going to put him 4 wide, 5 wide if you count the car that's on the apron, and just too much pushing and shoving with too many cars in a pack here. And, I mean, at that point, you know, I don't know if Brock was trying to go to the 4th. It's hard to say. Maybe he was, but he just gets a little tap out back, I think. And at the same time, the 14 is starting to move up. It just doesn't work. Contact and then some big hits into the outside wall. Look at Chris Walker. That thing gets up on its side into the safer barrier and then gets up on the safer barrier and actually gets into the catch fence a bit for eventually coming back down on all 4 and rolling back as far as he could go at least. Saw Michael Trascaro there as well. Let's show you that again here from the zoomed in shot. And for the 14 of Evan Carlbon, who we just talked about, that's not what he needed to have happen. This will be a fast pair for all these drivers as well. You saw the 80 with some contact there as well. Just trying to see who else we had. I mean, this one collected a bunch of them. Is that Larry McDonald in the yellow 80 machine tonight? Yes, it was. And he doesn't really have anywhere to go either here. He sees it. Not the worst it could be, but then he clips a couple other drivers. You saw Chandler Parsons go for a spin. Looks like after that, everybody in front of him was able to gather it back up. So that left the rest of the wreck to unfold out back. For Michael Trascaro, this was a tough break as well. As we'll watch it from the Gopher cam here in turn number 1. Big hit. Chris Walker almost takes out our camera. I would say that was certainly the first big one here of the night. It's just
a huge one there.
Yeah, it's just a product. I mean, what do you do, right? It's just aggressive racing, but I mean, at some point you think it's tough because these cars are so fun. When you're getting all these big runs, you want to just keep doing everything you can to go to the front, but I mean, at some point you got to realize that we still have 60 laps in the race. There's no point in trying to do all this right now. If you just get in line and slowly work your way up, or just wait till we get a pit stop even. But everybody feeling like track position is that important and obviously going for it here. And unfortunately, this leads us to what has now been your 4th caution in just 22 laps. Haven't really had a chance to get in any sort of a rhythm, at least not up to this point. And so as we'll get ready to go back green, Jeff Merck still being scored as your leader. And then on the inside here, I believe, is that 62 of Veliky? Yes, it is. We'll see how they line up. Looks like Merck will take the outside here. Then you've got the 23 of Brambilla, followed by Cody Nagels. Alex Hill currently rounds out the top 5. Dalton Steele is back in 6th. And so as they get ready to go back green, Landon was feeling pretty good about his chances here tonight. So let's see how he's feeling. See how he's feeling right about now.
I'm not the leader.
All right,
Hey, Landon, it's Matt Nelson.
Yeah, there you go.
Matt Nelson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. No, not better than you. I mean, that push was unbelievable. You guys were flying down the backstretch. Everyone was 3 wide. How do you try and approach this restart now starting on the bottom? It seems like it's not really the preferred lane, but now you got Cody lining up behind you on the outside.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of screwed down here now, but I mean, at least Cody's up there, and I think Alex is still up here. I don't know how we did that. I'm usually not the best when it comes to pushing in this car, and we just took off. I mean, even when that wreck was happening, we were still gaining on them, and I still had temps. It was a lot of fun. Maybe Merck will like me again after that one. I hope he does.
Yeah, Merck's a tough cookie to please for sure. I know that being his teammate, but good run so far. Hopefully you keep the car clean, keep it up front, and hopefully we talk to you here soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
All right, there you go. That's Landon Veliky. He'll get ready to get back to Green Flag Racing. And by the way, if you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. 47 people watching tonight. How about that? We appreciate everybody tuning in for the Fall Brawl. And again, hope to see everybody tuning in for the R&R Roughneck Racing Money Racing Series that we're going to be starting broadcasts on here. I believe it's next Wednesday. So looking forward to that. That'll be a little bit of a mixture. I'll be broadcasting it. I'm sure Dawson Wise will be joining us at some points, maybe a couple others as well. So let's see here. We can get green at least to this halfway point tonight. Still got 17 laps when we go green before we'll be there. A lot on the line, but a lot of drivers without a fast repair means that you're going to have to be extra conservative now from this point forward. Here we go. Landon Veliky and Jeff Merck back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega, and it's a good restart for the 60 of Jeff Merck. It's enough to get clear to the inside, but we know he isn't going to take that. He'll stay up top right now and just wait for the momentum to start to charge up. Nagels, though, big move to the bottom. Didn't see that one coming.
That's going to happen.
Merck not able to cover it. Now the 45 of Dalton Steele arrives for some help to the outside lane. And Cody must be feeling really confident right now on the bottom. And actually, I mean, he has a teammate down there in Landon Velicki, so you can't really blame him for making that move. They'll stay side by side, though, down the Alabama gang back straightaway. And they are 3 wide further back. Guess who looking to come to the front? Looks like the 84 machine. Trying to figure out, is that Logan York? No, that's Connor Cunningham. Getting pushed by York. Oh, trouble. Trouble further back, maybe? Did they save it? Oh, man, trying to figure this one out here.
All the way up front by Merck.
Wow. Boy, we had chaos all the way through that turn. Let's go back and look at this one here before anything else happens. Jeff Merck, did he have a big moment up front? Yes, he did, I believe. Yeah, all right, so here we go. Watch as they get into the corner. Merck's getting pushed, gets pushed clear, but just... Was he just a little bit late on it, Baker?
Yeah, well, I don't think he was late per se. He had the room, but the thing is they had 3 cars pushing behind him, so that speed delta, as they got to his back bumper, it's not a bad move by Merck. It's just, you know, Cody has nowhere to go, and he's getting pushed through. So no fault to Cody, no fault to Merck. He was clear by a lot, I think. It's just, it would have been tough for everyone to check up there in the bottom line.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good analysis of it, and as we look further back, they're still 3 wide. I mean, you just wonder how long can they make this work. You see the 24, Francisco Villarreal. Oh, watch out. A 45, Dalton Steele. Now watch out, another block. Devin Ray's going to get hung in the middle. There they go. The 24 is going to get turned back up into traffic. Caution is out. Villarreal's going to get spun around a couple times. And the 24, Villarreal here, trying to get it back going. He's okay, and yet again, we get a caution, but we escape another big incident. As Villarreal, he has some damage on the right front, but he may have been the only driver to really get anything from this wreck, as I believe everybody else got away unscathed. He's going to get it back rolling here on the apron through 1 and 2. Let's go back and look at it here, and this was a wreck that kind of developed all the way back out of 4 and just never really happened until they got here to the short shoe going towards turn 1, but watch it. It's going to start with a couple different moves right here. First one, see the 45 of Dalton Steele trying to drop down just enough to get clear. Yeah, just barely, and then the 2, Devin Ray tries to do the same, can't quite get it. Now he's hung 3 wide, and it's like that's really where it starts at here. Watch. So when Devin Ray gets split, and we'll go to the chopper view for it, but when Devin Ray gets split right here, the 45, Dalton Steele's trying to follow the 24 down and just, he's offset right, so as he goes to follow him, instead of actually being able to push him, fortunately just hooks him. You see the 14 there, nowhere to go. Some contact between a couple other drivers before eventually Villarreal comes to a halt. I don't see, like I said, anyone else that actually got collected. That's the good news of it. The bad news, of course, for Villarreal is that good run that he was having, all the track position he made up, he's now going to lose it all, and he'll have to go to the back and try to find his way back to the front after getting turned around in that one. Show you what it looked like from his point of view. And watch it. You're going to see the wheels start turning here. And almost an indication he's getting ready to get turned. There's the slight contact right there, and then right there, yeah. This starts to go around on him with that contact from out back. And gets tagged a couple times. You worry about that right front. For Villarreal, he'll have to go in and get that worked on, most certainly.
Oh, man. Cody Nagels looks like he disconnected from the server.
Oh, man, that's a horrible break. He was leading the race. I'll have to see. I know he had been actually mentioning that, you know, the new house for Cody Nagels trying to get some internet issues worked out. That's a really, really unfortunate break. Looks like that'll hand the lead over to Jeff Merck for the moment. Devin Ray second, then Alex Hill, the first of the cars in the pits. See if he's able to come out the same way he went in here. And not quite. He's not going to win the race out. Looks like that's going to go to Kyler Wynn or Falkingham. But so for Nagels here, the hope's going to be that he can reconnect before we get back to green flag racing. We'll have to see, though, if that's indeed the case. And then I'm looking here. So we've got Devin Ray second, Trevor Osnoth back in third, Michael Triscaro fourth. Kyler Wynn right now rounding out your top 5. Falkingham is back in 6th. John Mullahan 7th. Alex Hill 8th. Nash Brambilla 9th. And Malik Ray is currently rounding out your top 10. And so I mean, we're still not in that fuel window yet, Baker. Do you, I mean, if you're a driver with what you've seen so far, let's say you're in the middle of this pack, I mean, what's the plan? Do you try to go to the front and get track position, or do you at this point just stay in the back and just try to miss the wrecks?
You know, it's I don't want to be in the field right now, to be honest. It just everyone is all over the place once it gets past the front 5 guys.
It has been chaos for sure, but either way, still appreciate everybody sticking with us. Hope that you're having a good Thursday night, Thursday evening, depending on which part of the state that you're in. As the other thing that we haven't got a chance to talk about, I was waiting till we kind of got on a green flag stretch, but since that hasn't happened yet, I guess now is as good of a time as any to bring it up, is some of the new rules that we got this week, Baker. I know the idea of the two is that if you're on that 210, that crazy steering ratio that we've been talking about the last couple weeks, and you throw a block in, you make a crazy save that wrecks the field as a result of that block, then you're going to get penalized. And then the other rule now is that teams have been limited to 4 drivers, and everybody in the race is required to be in a PGR eSports Discord channel so that, of course, they can make sure that they're in 4-car teams and that they're more available for interviews if we need them. Did I get that right?
Yeah, we took away the restriction of the 4 people per team. We're letting everyone just run, but they just are required to be in the Discord, able for us to interview. And then with the 210, it's more on the blocking side, not really the save side. If the save happens after a ridiculous block, and then we'll discuss it, but it's more on the blocking side.
Yeah, and so if you're curious as to what that looks like, well, I mean, you might see it at some point, but the idea, like I said, is that, you know, let's say you're up here leading this field. Let's just, as an example, I know Merck doesn't do this, but let's just say Jeff Merck was using 210 steering ratio. He goes up, tries to block Osronoth. He's not clear, but he's got a 210 ratio, so when he hits Osronoth, he's fine, but Osronoth gets wrecked. The rest of the field wrecks as a part of the stack up of the bad block. Then that would penalize Jeff Merck in that case. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. So that's the setup for it. You hope that it's not an issue, but we'll have to keep an eye on it here tonight. And then the other thing to talk about is how about what these payouts are looking like tonight. I mean, these are huge payouts, especially with the addition of that sponsorship from James Wagoner. And so here's what it's looking like. It was a $35 entry, capped at 45 entries. It's got 46 technically, due to a little dilemma with 2 guys, the last 2 guys that entered paying at the same time. But it's $500 to win here tonight. That is a lot of money. 300 to second, 250 to third, 170 to fourth, 150 to fifth, and then 135 to sixth, 70 to seventh, and then some extra bonuses, a $100 bonus to the highest finishing non-PGR winner, that's 7th or worst with the least amount of incident points. And I believe it's also a $50 bonus to the hardest charger without a PGR win as well. So a lot of money up for grabs here tonight, even for drivers that maybe aren't necessarily in position to get the win, as there's another view of Michael Triscaro and Trevor Osronoth, as Triscaro here is going to line up second on the inside in row 2, and then Trevor Osronoth is going to line up first on the outside in row 1. So as they work their way off turn 4. Again, now we are about 10, going to be 10 to 12 laps away, maybe a little bit more than that, depending on how conservative you want to be, from kind of getting to that point where we start to talk about being in the fuel window, and then all of a sudden we get cautions after that point. It starts to change up the strategy. But let's see if we can maybe log some green flag laps. Again, it'll be 30 laps complete when they cross the line this time. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing at Talladega.
Oh, big push on the outside. Kyler Wynn going to get to the back bumper. Trevor Osronoth, big push on the outside. Garrett Maines, he's 5th in line there. On the top side, it's going to form up really well, but Malik formed up 5th in line on the bottom really well. That's really where you see the separation between the 2 lines. They're all out of shape now. Alex Hill getting out of shape. Oh, they are all out of shape.
They're trying to save it here. Oh, my goodness. Can they all hold on here is the question. You see the 21 car way out of line, as was the 23 of Chris Walker. The 21 car was Noah Lurch. He does save it. Big runs out back. They're all still trying to figure out where to take them. Looks like they get it organized out there. Now it's the middle portions of the pack that are split 3 wide. James Wagner on the high side here trying to make a move around the 62 of Landon Veliky. See Malik Ray trying to move up top to see if he can get tucked in line behind the 27 of Joshua McCullough. And he'll be able to do just that. Watch for this third lane to develop. Wagner and Matt Lee on the third, but they've got no help right now. They start to fade back. 2 by 2 for 5th on back, and now they start to single file out. Mistretta, man, aggressive move from the 8 right there to get under the one of Garrett Maines. I don't know if you saw that, Baker, but that was one of the most aggressive moves I've seen someone pull on Garrett in a while.
Yeah, usually Garrett or Malik, Kyler, those are the aggressors that you usually see pull those moves. Nice to see someone trying to get back to it. Oh, man, they're about to lose this lead pack. They're 3 wide, side drafting all over this place.
Whoa.
Malik, oh, big move downstairs, able to hang on to it, though, because he's on that 2-10 steering ratio. But big push to Jeff Merck. He needs it for Michael Tristero to keep this pack. But everyone all separated. Malik going to go upstairs, try and grab Garrett Maines, but they are just losing time to this front 7 here.
Might have almost been our first implementation of the 210 rule right there. But yeah, they keep it together. And you talked about that front group trying to pull away. I think the thing that might hinder them right here is that you've got kind of a 3-car trio acting as a bridge between that first pack and this second pack. And now as more of them start to single file out in the second pack, or rather the third pack, the second pack is caught. They'll go 2 wide. And this side drafting will bring that front pack right on back to everybody that's been trying to catch him. Veliky blinks out just briefly. Alex Hill still on his back bumper here. A lot of pushing and shoving. There'll be 33 laps complete, but now that we've single filed out here, they've still got a second pack that's formed up here. I mean, I'm looking back, Baker, and it looks like John Ellis Jr., Joshua McCullough on back. They got really racy, and I mean, they're 3 wide back here. They're losing the pack quickly.
Absolutely losing the pack, and then there's the third pack behind it. We've got 3 separate packs all racing. Looks like the second pack has the best type of racing going on with that 3 wide all the way through. But Garrett Maines giving a huge shove to Malik Ray. They went from the top of 3 wide. Oh, Malik almost gets wrecked again with the 210 save. If he's not on it, he wrecks. Oh, 2 around there, only 2 on the inside.
And looking back for it here, 2 cars that Baker's talking about. See if we can maybe pick them out right here. It's turn 3 entry. I see at least one off. You see the smoke from the others. As looks like one of them may have been Noah Lurch. He gets back rolling here.
Clamper slams the inside wall, looks like.
Yep, yeah, to the data showing too. Man, that's a tough break for Sierra Clamper. Watch it here as they go down the backstretch. This was in that second group, by the way, and 22 just a mistake right there as 22 hooked the 49 of Melton, and that turned him right down into Sierra Clamper. Goes head on into that inside wall just about.
There goes Kyler, Malik, and Garrett to the high side. Logan York going to split it out 3 wide with Ethan Eckert there in the middle. He gets back up to the top.
Man,
big push to the bottom. Logan York trying to get to the inside of Garrett. Won't happen, though.
Man, I was watching some of the pushing they were doing out back right here. Still 3 wide. The 48 stuck in the middle, Alex Hill, but it is just ridiculous to me how hard these guys can hit each other and it not turn these cars around, even when it's in the corner. I mean, that shows you just how planted these cars are, again, with that big duckbill spoiler. And so far, maybe things start to calm down as long as this front pack can hold it together. And they got to be careful because, again, here we go. We're starting to see another opportunity where this front group is going to try to create a little bit of separation. And if they don't get organized back here, they very well could do that. As for that third pack, Baker, they may be actually starting to catch up. Well, maybe not. They're about 2.5 seconds back. So both of these groups, they got to get organized here. Again, still trying to stay on par with the leader.
Yeah, and you got these 3 cars up front lined up. The MGK, they call themselves now. You know, Malik, Garrett, and Kyler, they're rolling pretty deep, but 2 very, very aggressive. Oh, huge!
Oh, come on, save it. Oh, Alex trying to hold on. He's got to come back up. What a save. Everybody holds on. But again, was this another incident here? Let's see. Is this another example potentially of... Well, hold on. Let's go back and look at it first. I don't want to say anything premature, but watch here. It's going to start with Malik Ray and company up front. And is Malik a little bit late on the block here? Does he hold it together? No, he's not late on it. He gets up there in plenty of time, but again, it's just kind of what we saw with Jeff Merck earlier. It's just such a run from out back that they can't see it in time, that they run into the back, it stacks everybody up, and a couple cars just get shot out of line, but a good save again. And it looks like Alex was able to tag on to the back of the draft, so he's able to stick with them up front. And all that racing and all that chaos has just about brought that third group back into the mix now.
Big move to the outside. Monahan tried to call him up, but man, big out of shape that time. Daniel Falkingham to the back bumper. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that these guys are hanging on to some of these cars. It is unbelievable the saves some of these guys are making.
Hey, you can only play with fire for so long. I mean, we're up here holding our breath each and every push we see. They all keep somehow holding on as John Ellis Jr. has now pushed Michael Triscaro to the point. This is the first time that we've seen the 34 car out in front tonight trying to win a race in his own series. And it's going to all start with trying to lead some laps, get comfortable with getting pushed. He's got to be careful. You don't want to give up your right side if you don't have to. And there goes Alex Hill. Caution is out for some trouble. That's further back. Oh, it's in that second group, and it's a pretty big one. Oh, big hit into the inside wall. That was the 17 right there of Christopher Carter. You saw the 77. I believe that was Axel Smith. No, that's Michael Miller. I apologize. And the 77 further back, he went around. And we've got a couple others that took some damage during this contact. And so we almost made it to the halfway point. It would have been just about 10 laps under green, I believe, if we could have went 1 or 2 more laps. But certainly our longest one of the night so far. And everything went wrong was in this second pack somewhere. So let's see if we can find it. Potentially see how it all gets sparked. So watch James Wagner up front here. Is this where it starts, or is it going to start behind him? Oh, no, it starts behind him. It starts way behind him. In fact, looks like that might be the 80 of Larry McDonald, one of the first cars to get sent spinning. And so we'll back this up here again. Watch the 80 of Larry McDonald. Is it a checkup on the bottom? That's exactly what it is. And if we go to the chase view here, see running just in front of McDonald right here. Watch it nice and slow. We'll see. Actually, I wonder if we could zoom this in a little bit more. Here we go. All right, so let's zoom this in a little bit. We'll back this up one more time for you. And so, watch what happens right here. That's Quentin Steinbach in the 22. It's going to be a little bit of a checkup with that 22 car as he's trying to push the guy in front of him, Freddie Bosnez, but doesn't want to hook him. And then that stack up gets out back to the 80 of Larry McDonald. Now it gets back to the 14 of Evan Carl Bond. And then from there, the wreck's on. You see Larry McDonald get shot up the track. He gets into the 17 of Christopher Carter. As he slides back down, the 2 of Devin Ray kind of snow plows him off of his nose. And then you see the 30 of James Wagner, nowhere to go. He got collected. And then at the end of that, the 17 took another big hit. We may have had one more just behind it, too. But I think definitely the 17 of Christopher Carter arguably gets the worst of this one here. Watch it from his point of view. It's a big hit, and it almost looks like, yeah, right as he goes up in that outside wall, it breaks the suspension on that car. And that just takes that dead left. Gets on the brakes, but just not able to bring it to a halt in time. So again, a really tough break for Christopher Carter and multiple others. There's that first big hit. And as Larry McDonald comes back down, Joshua McCullough drifting all over the place here, trying to save it, gets into the back. James Wagner, that's what turns him around. And then, of course, you see the 17 here with that next big hit to the inside safer barrier. Couple spin out back, including the 77 of Michael Miller, but he's okay. Didn't get any damage, just a harmless spin. Show you this from just a couple more angles before we'll go back up front. And right there. They had just about caught that lead pack, too, when the incident took place. So that's a tough break there, and then that was kind of that third pack that was catching up to these guys right as they started wrecking. So again, another wreck that brings out a caution, but all in all really doesn't collect too many cars. And so it's 39 of 80 laps now complete. Joshua McCullough leads the way, or excuse me, Ken McCullough Jr. leads the way in that 03 machine. 23 of Chris Walker shown in second, but that's not for position. He's hoping to maybe get a lap back here. You've got John Ellis Jr., who's actually being scored in second. Dalton Steele third, Dylan Jones in fourth, with John Mullihan in fifth, Logan York sixth, Alex Hill seventh, Trevor Oswald at eighth, with Brian Haynes ninth, and Nash Brambilla currently rounding out your top 10. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our first break of the night. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us as we reach the halfway point here at Talladega.
Simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. We got a couple things that got changed up while we were on break, but before we get to that, Matthew Baker stands by looking for an interview here with one of the drivers.
Hey, Malik, it's Matt, Austin, and Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, yo, what's up?
Well, you're starting back in 18th. You've been up front all day. How do you work through this restart? I know you got Kyler and Garrett near you, but how do you work through getting through all of these cars up here to get back to the lead and try and dominate this race again?
And just stay away from the rest of these idiots, man. I'm just trying to be with my friends, which is Kyler and Garrett, and everyone else I'm trying to stay away from.
Trying to hang them out every chance you get. You've been dominant this year in 2024. Go out there and get another marquee event win here.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. And also, while we were on break, Dawson Wise has joined us up here in the booth, so he will be taking over the play-by-play commentary with me. And then, of course, Matthew Baker, who is on race control, will now be able to move to a little bit more of a relaxed role and focus on all the chaos that we have down on track, but we'll still be hearing from him occasionally. So without any further ado, here we go. Halfway through the 2024 Fall Brawl. That means 40 laps to go. No more pit stops in the schedule as of right now. Green flag is in the air, and it's a good restart for the 03 of Ken McCullough Jr., the 14 of John Ellis Jr. on the outside. This is the first opportunity that he's going to have to lead some laps here tonight, and for John Ellis Jr., you guys have mentioned before, he likes to come out for the big races, the special events. Tonight's no exception. He's going to be looking to see if he can win himself a PGR Fall Brawl, and he's got all the momentum in the world right now. Dylan Jones is going to shove the 14 clear down the backstretch.
Yeah, and look at already third line out back. It's Ethan Eckert that leads that line. He's got Kyler Wynn, Malik Ray, and Garrett Maines, the newfound teammates lined up behind him. That's not much better guys you can find to drive behind you. And look at how much speed they are carrying right now. 7 cars clear on the outside almost. Kenny McCullough, Dalton Steele. I think I kind of unlucky there. Their help didn't really go. And so far now it's Eckert and Kyler Wynn that are making up the most ground. And here they come. They're shot out of a cannon at the line. They're already up in the top 5.
And as you were watching that, Dawson, I'm sitting here looking back where they're 4 wide. Michael Triscaro finally going to find a spot. They almost wrecked when they were on the front stretch there when they were 4 wide, but they sorted out for the moment. Still a lot of 3x3 and a lot of pushing and shoving back here in the middle portion of the pack, but up front, Logan York leads, not for long. He's all by himself on the bottom. Here comes Ethan Eckert. He'll give his teammate a huge shot in the back bumper. They are pushing up front. Another big shot to the outside line. They're 3 wide into turn 3, but up front, they're 2 wide for the lead, and John Ellis Jr. goes to the point.
Yeah, here comes the bottom line as well. That is going to be Logan York. He dropped off Eckert's bumper to Dylan Jones. Landon Felicki, Brian Hennings, Kenny McCullough in tow as the bottom tries to challenge. Middle dropping out. Ethan Eckert just unlucky. There go the teammates. Kyler went in the middle. Malik behind him. Garrett in tow as well. Felicki, look at that move to the middle. And down the side draft comes Ellis and Alex Hill. And this racing is getting very tight up front. 38 laps to go. 3 wide, 8 rows deep out back, but up front, Ellis Hill tandem on the outside. The teammates, Wynn, Ray, and Maines on the inside. Look at Michael Triscaro shot out of a cannon on the outside in front of Jeff Merck.
Yeah, this would be a really good time for this front 4 to get organized, but it's not going to happen because, as you said, Michael Triscaro, big run up top, big block. They're going to have to both go low. Merck will take it all the way to the bottom. Triscaro held it in the middle. Now there's more contact. There they go again. Big hit. Alex Hill into the outside safer barrier. Can everybody else miss him? Looks like they do. And as we go back under caution, it's somehow another wreck where most of the field manages to miss it, even though it pretty much happened up front. I did see Chris Melton there with some damage. He was limping along the outside safer barrier. Man, the close calls just continue in the 49 here. He had to bring it to a halt, so he may have got it worse than we initially thought. But let's go back and show you how this one gets sparked up. It all started with the 48 of Alex Hill. And for Hill, watches... They're 3 wide, and I mean, you just could see it coming. There's just too many runs, too much pushing and shoving in the corner, and just right here, Brambilla's got to run. He's trying to size him up, but he gets hit by Tucker right before he gets to him. That offsets him right, so when he hits Alex, he's offset. That sends the 48 down the track into Eckert, and then he gets hooked back up, and look at that. Massive shot for Alex Hill, who climbs up onto the hood of Nash Brambilla before eventually falling back down, and then Chris Melton right here. The 49 got shot up somehow. Something shot him up. It's almost as if Wow, boy, that was a really odd look for Chris Melton. We'll have to go back and look at this again. But it almost looked as if his left front broke. My question is, what did it break on? Let's see if we can go back here and figure it out for Melton, because once that left front gave out, that's when he had the trouble that took him into the outside wall. Let's see, does he had to have ran into somebody ahead of him. That'd be my guess here. Mistretta goes low. That's what it is, and it looks like he actually somehow netcodes into the tire of Mistretta, ramps him over, breaks that left front suspension, and into the wall he goes. But, I mean, for Alex Hill there, nothing he's doing wrong, Dawson. Just big run out back. Brambilla tries to square him up, gets hit at a bad time, and it leads to another wreck that just kind of stems from just a lot of aggression in this field tonight.
Well, it was unlucky. Triscaro had some help out back of him from Jeff Merkin. They both ducked middle and kind of hung Alex in no man's land, and he was never able to get his momentum back. And as Brambilla and McClendon get to him, it was bad timing also. Brambilla gets to him in a really bad spot. He tries to stab the brakes, I think, and Tucker gets in the back of him. There's no way McClendon was going to be able to stop. It all happens too fast. It's unlucky for everybody involved, and fortunately for everybody out back of Alex Hill, most of the guys missed him. I thought when Hill went in the outside wall, I thought for sure we were collecting 12, 14, 16 cars. Somehow it's only 2 or 3. Again, we got away with one.
Got away with one, but it's another fast repair down the drain. You figure we've had, since we got 46 drivers in the field, everybody's got a fast repair. That's 46 fast repairs, and we've seen probably quite a few of them already go down the drain here tonight. We're only about 5 laps over the halfway point, so I know that there's still a lot of time left, but at some point here, you got to start to think about just going for it, because with as much chaos as we've seen so far, knowing that you're good to go on fuel the rest of the way is not going to be the answer that necessarily calms that chaos. So we'll see what happens, but Jack Shack in pretty good positioning up front right now as Trevor Osnoth and Devin Ray lead the way. They're 1-2. And it's Kyler Wynn and Garrett Maines, in 3 and 4. Jeff Merck, John Ellis Jr. rounding out row 3. Veliky and York in row 4. And Michael Triscaro alongside Dylan Jones in row number 5. Well, I'll tell you what, since it's a marquee event here tonight, I feel like it's only right to bring up what the next marquee event's going to be. And from what I know and from what I'm expecting, we don't have anything else until the PGR 500. The big event's coming up in February. Mark your calendars. We're getting excited for it, and I believe some info has already gone out about potential dates. Dawson, we get to kind of get the behind-the-scenes rumors and hear what's going on with management, and they're shaping up the dates. They're getting everything together, and I think the release is going to be pretty soon. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well, and I think back to July and just how much of a success the SummerSlam was, how great a race that was, first of all. An incredible event. It's up on our channel from July if you want to go check that out. That was one of the best super speedway races I've watched, but looking forward now, obviously, with the things going around, with the information we already know, a huge event. The biggest names, anybody who is anybody in money racing and super speedway racing, potentially even in iRacing, is going to be attending that event. You will not want to miss it, and I cannot wait. Just counting down the days, and really, we're not that far away, Austin. Only about 2 months away from that event taking place.
Yeah, it's going to come up really quickly, and I mean, we're sitting here talking about it as broadcasters, but from the sound of it, there's a good chance that we both might be racing in it ourselves. And at that point, of course, we're still looking for a bit of a production crew, if you will, either way, as my college dorm room PC clearly was not able to handle the SummerSlam as well as expected. So we'll get a little bit more of a professional crew for the PGR 500 together. Now, in terms of broadcasters, not sure if that will consist of myself and you, Dawson, or if that will be some other guys. But either way, we're going to set it up to still be here on PGR eSports, so you won't have to worry about that. But looking forward to it. Should be a good one, and we do know that it will be in the next-gen car. There were some rumors that it was going to be in this car here, and boy, as much as I love this car and had a chance to race it last Sunday, I mean, it's a ton of fun. It's just, when you look for a premier race, you got to have the premier car. Excited to see the next-gen be the choice for it. These cars are still good prep for it. They race in kind of a lot of the same ways. I think the only real difference is that these cars feel a little bit more planted than the next-gens do.
That's basically the biggest change I can think of. I think the runs are a little bigger in these as well, and obviously the tandem a little bit stronger, I think, is another big change. But the next gen, just a little bit weaker versions of that, but obviously at races very similar. But now the premier car for the premier race, it's going to be a heck of an event, and I cannot wait. The more we talk about it, the more excited I get, especially if I were to get to be on track. We'll see how that turns out, but obviously looking forward to either sharing the booth with you or the track with these guys come January, come February.
Going to be exciting. All right, as we get ready to go back green, I do want you to turn your attention to that scoring tower on the left real quick. Notice all the wrecks we've had, there's only, it looks like 4 cars that are actually out of the race. Everybody else is still on the lead lap. So we have got a ton of cars still in contention for this one, but haven't had the big one just yet. Well, take that back. We had a big one earlier, but apparently it didn't take out any cars, so we'll have to see what happens. But here we go. It'll be 47 of 80 laps complete. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega, and it's a good restart for the 2 Jack Shack teammates. There's the coordination as Trevor Osmanoff gets clear and quickly jumps up to the high side of the racetrack. Everybody else going to file in line, looking like the Pied Piper here at Talladega is Trevor Osmanoff right now. And I mentioned before, Dawson, we've seen Trevor win in this car here a few times. He knows how to get it done. We'll see if he can do it again here tonight.
Yeah, this single file, this logging laps, I don't think it's going to last long. The runs are too big, almost treble lap back, about 10 rows deep. They all save it. They all keep going forward. And look, right as I say that, Merck into the outside wall. Are they going to be able to hold it together? Yes. Look at the Jack Shack cars, top to bottom. Bit of a defensive move from the Jack Shack, and it worked. Look at, they pulled everybody behind them from top to bottom. Merck going to drop to the bottom. And, man, yeah, 4 wide back there around Dalton Steele. Michael Triscaro, can they get it sorted? I think they will.
And so far, they've tried. They're trying to. They're still 4 wide. Triscaro has gotten caught in the middle of 4 wide the last 2 restarts here. Can't catch a break, but up front, looks like they're going to try to organize a little bit better. Trevor Osmanoff leads, but now he's dragged everybody down to the inside. He's got his teammate Devin Ray pushing. And we see Garrett Maines in 3rd, Kyler Wynn back in 4th. Garrett Maines currently sitting, or excuse me, behind Kyler Wynn is Logan York. But look at the outside, John Ellis Jr. Big run. York's going to jump up to block it. Big block. Wynn tried to do the same, couldn't do it. Now they're all going up top. Devin's in the wall. Chaos up front.
And I think it may very well have been a product of the ratio that you guys were talking about earlier. I think they went to make a quick move to the middle, and I think they got more than they bargained for, those 2 Jack Shack cars. It worked out for Trevor. It did not work out for Devin. Devin is going way back in the field. He's going to fade outside the top 20. Outside still working. Logan York, by the way, very lucky. John Ellis cut him a break. I think he could have totally wrecked the 0-1 and decides to push him instead. Osmanoff to block, and here we go. Getting dicey up front again. Big block on the outside by Osmanoff.
And it's just that risk versus reward with these blocks. And, man, Falkingham going high may have saved that pack from completely piling up right there. 54, he has got a lot of help behind him, and it's good help. Nagels, Lee, Brian Hennings, but it's not going to matter because caution is out, and it looks like it's for trouble further back again here. Trying to figure out who it is. Ooh, Austin B. Floyd. He's got damage, as does Tucker McClendon. It looks like he's lost his right front fender.
Weird wreck if I've ever seen one.
Oh, boy. All right, well, let's go back and take a look at it here. Let's see. They're single file just about. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's go back and zoom in here. Go to the TV3 shot. So there's Austin B. Floyd in the 71. If we zoom in on him here, he's up top and just... Wow. I think he gets hooked initially, and then you see out back the way they stacked up is the part that I think Baker's referring to was a little bit of a weird look. So watch from the chopper view first. 71 of Austin B. Floyd. Is he just washing up here? I think that's what it is. So he's got Ethan Eckert on his outside. Eckert's holding those left side tires by the white line, and he is washing up. And then, you know, at the same time, you got the 84 starting to get a run as Connor Cunningham gets there. The 71, I think, starts to try to come back down and just... I mean, that's just kind of that miscommunication. If you're the 84, I would think the goal here would be to try to line him up, so maybe you cut him a little bit of a break. Instead, it just kind of sits on the left rear, and as the 71 maybe starts to come back down, there's some contact, sends Austin B. Floyd around, and then watch these 3. I mean, this is like the 3 Stooges, the way they wrecked. You see Tucker McClendon. Oh, my goodness. He like, snowplowed, or Michael Miller, excuse me, like, snowplowed Tucker McClendon into the inside. Well, look at this. What in the world?
It's like they all hooked together and went straight towards the wall.
That's exactly what it looks like. Dawson, what do you make of that one?
I make exactly what you said. That is a weird look. They literally did. It looks like they tandem together. It's like they got a chain hanging out. If you've ever been to Bowman Gray Stadium, they have chain races down there sometimes where they hook 2 cars together. That's kind of what it looked like. 2 cars chained together going right at the inside wall. And the initial wreck, that's just bad timing. Maybe... not really a lack of awareness, but just you got to cut that guy a break. You got to realize the run's coming. He gets in the back of the 71, does Connor Cunningham, and then from there, man, just what a weird look. I guess that's the best comparison I can make is a chain race at Bowman Gray.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bowman Gray is looking a little bit cleaner than what we've seen here tonight, so I'll have to maybe try the chain racing idea out. But either way, that was certainly a very, very interesting looking wreck. You're right. It literally looked like they just tandem together. I know these cars get big runs, but not that big. And as you said with Connor Cunningham there, I don't think it was anything malicious or anything he was trying to do. In fact, if he could go back, he'd probably give him a break, but just in the moment there, the decision maybe not quite the right one. Either way, 51 of 80 laps complete. We're slowly getting to the back half of this race now, as it'll be coming up on 25 laps to go, and we get the restart, maybe a couple more. And so as we noted, Garrett leads the way. Kyler wins second, and it's Trevor Osnoth back in third, with Landon Velicki to his outside in fourth. Logan York is back in fifth. And Chandler Parsons, he's got a pretty good run going. Osnoth, by the way, is up 12 from where he started. Logan York's up 15 spots from where he started, as is Chandler Parsons. And Daniel Falkingham, he is up 35 spots from where he started this race at. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go take another quick break. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing as the field continues to fuel save under caution. Stick with us. We'll be back at Talladega.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We won't run. We won't run. Ladies and gentlemen, we got
The monkey is prime.
this season. We are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time! Oh, that's good.
All right, welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway, home to the 2024 PGR eSports Fall Brawl. All right, well, you saw a little bit of the, I don't know, shenanigans, if you want to call it there, while we were getting ready to go back green. Logan York having a little fun, trying to get the attention of race control, but that was not an actual incident. So if you're watching, wondering what that was, the 01 has his chat muted, so he was just trying to get the attention of race control to get it fixed up. And so 52 of 80 laps complete. That means when we go green right here, it'll be 53, and that'll put us at exactly 28 laps to go in this race. And again, everybody's good to go on fuel, at least for regulation. Overtimes, that could be where we potentially see a couple question marks. We'll have to see how many laps of green flag racing we get, which could help determine how far they'll be able to go if we do get an overtime. But here we go, back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. Garrett Maines gets a good restart, gets a little bit of a shot out back from Trevor Osnoth. The only problem now is that loses him some help momentarily. The outside trying to get lined up. It's Kyler Wynn and Landon Velicki, and then further back, already three wide. That looked like Quentin Steinbach, who's stuck in the middle in that 22 car. Sure enough, it is the 24 up top of Francisco Villarreal here. Can he jump up in front of that 24? No, he can't. So they'll stay three wide out back as they go 2x2 up front. Velicki with another big tandem draft. He's trying to get Kyler into the lead.
He's going to do so. He's going to get him all the way to the lead. He's going to get himself cleared a second. They're going to drop right down on the nose of Garrett Maines. Now it's Chandler Parsons leading the outside. Mistretta Higgs Mullahan way out to dry. John Mullihan in no man's land. The Budweiser Chevrolet Mastretta now leads the second lane. He's got a teammate out back. That's Matt Lee, a pair of Nightmare cars. Now with Daniel Falkingham, Cody Nagel's not far behind them. Nightmare all of a sudden grouped up, not far behind their teammate Landon Velicki, but again, Austin, here we go again. The top three driving away a little bit from this group behind them because these guys behind them can't get organized.
Yeah, and so far the trend tonight has been they've gotten better with figuring that out pretty quickly and organizing to be able to catch back up. And yeah, sure enough, they do it again right there. But I mean, just keep an eye on it because late in the race when they get really aggressive, I mean, you get 3 wide out back, even if it's just for a lap, that front pack can get away in a hurry. And now you see them doing just that. They're starting to get a little bit dicey here further back. The 14 of John Ellis Jr. He's on the 3rd lane right now, working with the 48 of Dylan Basin. The 74 of Brian Hennings in the middle. And as they continue to race up front, everybody's trying to get organized to pull away. The 14 and the 48 are flying, though. Look at the run they have, Dawson. They're going to take it to the middle. Basin wasn't able to stick with them, though. Now they break up as they are racing up front for the lead. Here comes the 14 to John Ellis Jr. on the bottom.
Well, this is what happens when the guys up front start side drafting. The side draft in this car is so strong. Oh, trouble. Out back. Brian Hennings, Garrett Maines got together. Are they going to be able to save it?
Big hit. Francisco Villarreal into the outside safer barrier. Caution is out. And the 2 of Devin Ray comes to a halt up top. Tucker McClendon will drive by. Their 9th caution of the night in 55 laps of racing. So, I mean, this one just, it's just been the same thing all night. It's just the big runs. We were sitting here talking about it over break, Dawson, of what do you do? And I don't even have I don't know. I don't have the answer. It's just everybody wants to be so aggressive for track position. In these cars, they make it so easy to be aggressive because the runs you get are just so massive. And right here for Brian Hennings, let's see, is this around where it started? Was it, oh, it was with the 34 Trisquero. There's a bit of a brief checkup right here. For the 34 Trisquero, Eckert's trying to push him. Trisquero catches York. Eckert doesn't get off of him, and when they get into York, it shoots Trisquero out of line. That checks up Ethan Eckert. And then you saw Brian Hennings run into the back of Eckert. He's going to get down into Garrett Maines. Hennings is trying to save it. He does, and then it's actually further back with a 24 of Villarreal. It was actually the car that lost it here. So the question is, how did he spin around? Was there some contact out back for him as well? Let's see. So he sees all the contact up front. He's going to try to check up here, which he does successfully, but then Devin Ray doing the same, comes down a little bit. Him and his teammate Jared Haynes get together. They get into the 24. Villarreal sends him up the track, and that's a big, big hit for Villarreal, who kind of got wedged. I guess I should say that was an even bigger hit for the guy that he kind of wedged into the outside safer barrier there. It just ripped completely the front end off. I'm trying to figure out exactly who that was that he actually got into. Couldn't see from that view the number. Let's go back and watch it here from a bit of a different angle. Looks like, that's the 22, Quentin Steinbach. That's who that was. Man, massive hit for those two. Devin Ray comes to a halt. You saw Austin B. Floyd involved as well. I think those two will get away relatively okay. It's going to be Villarreal and then, of course, Steinbach that you'll worry about in this one, for how bad the damages were. And so it seems like most of the wrecks that we have had here tonight have happened in the back half of the pack. When you think about it, it kind of makes sense, in the sense at least that, you know, you start to get these big checkups up front and whatnot, and those kind of transition to out back, and eventually it gets to a point where it's just not everybody's able to check up. Somebody gets sandwiched, sent out of line, and it's on from there. But now this will put us in a restart with under 25, maybe close to 20 laps to go. And so when we get that, it's when... I don't know, Dawson. I think 20 to go is crunch time for everybody, regardless of what your strategy was tonight. So I almost think the aggression is going to pick up even more.
Well, to a degree it is, but to a degree I think it's already kind of where it's going to be. I mean, we've already seen you can go from 15th, 16th place to the lead in no time. I mean, John Ellis was running outside the top 10 right there and went all the way to 3rd and was probably going to get the lead if that race stays green. He'll restart P3 here. Again, restarted P15 on the last restart. So really the aggression's kind of already where it's going to be. Are the blocks going to get bigger? Are the moves going to get bigger? Yeah, perhaps. But in terms of the runs, in terms of the pushes, I think we're already seeing it. I think we've seen it all night, and that kind of contributes to 9 cautions. It's only going to get more chaotic from here.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, I put a poll out at the beginning of the race. Well, I guess I should, before we started the race, it said, would we go green all night? It had 83% no, and it looks like the predictions were obviously pretty accurate on that aspect. But I'm going to put out another poll. Will we see a new winner? That's going to be the question for this one, and I think it's still very possible. Now, you have a lot of the big names up front, and that's, again, partially because we really haven't had any of the wrecks up front, or at least not many of them. So all the guys that are used to running up front are up here with a shot at it right now. But, I mean, you look, Daniel Falkingham, the Coke Series driver, he's looking for his first PGR win. Maybe tonight's the night. Dylan Basin, I don't know if he's got one yet or not. 6 of Cody Neggles, we know he does. And you go back a little bit further, 72 of Chandler Parsons, he doesn't. The 8 of Chase Mistretta doesn't. So there's still some drivers here in the top 10 that have the opportunity to grab that first PGR win here tonight. It's just going to be a question of how do the cards play out here. It's going to be, looks like a 22 lap to go restart. We grab the green flag. And so the other thing that I did want to mention is next place that PGR eSports heads, at least for the money racing side of things, is going to be on Tuesday night, back to Tuesday Night Thunder for the championship race, but it won't be this Tuesday, it'll be the next Tuesday. So we'll take a break for this Thanksgiving week, and then tomorrow night, PGR eSports will be over broadcasting for the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Xfinity Series. So make sure you tune in for them as well. Dawson, you just got done broadcasting the OP Throwback Series, so a lot of good series that have been going on recently on PGR eSports. If you're new to the channel, you like what you see, make sure that you do leave us a follow. We certainly appreciate it. And again, we do appreciate everybody that's been hanging out with us here tonight. I know it's been maybe a little bit longer than some have expected, but whenever we get a lot of people in the chat, boy, it makes our job that much more exciting. We want to put on a show for you guys, and so certainly hope that we've been able to do that so far. The 14 of Kyler win, though. Talk about putting on a show. He has been doing that, but he's been conservative here tonight. You've not seen a lot of egregious moves from Kyler. He's been very smart up to this point, and it's working out well for him.
Yeah, kind of not out of character, shall I say, but I mean, for this car, you expect, okay, he's going to ramp up his strategy, and he really hasn't, and he hasn't had to. It's kind of worked out for him to just take the runs where they come, not make any, outlandish moves, and as such, leading the race when everybody behind him that's making those moves can't seem to get around them. 14 running a really smart race right now.
Yes, he is. All right, here we go. Pace car going to make the left turn back down to the pits. And again, it will be 22 laps to go in the 2024 PGR Fall Brawl. We talked about new winners, but don't forget about the defending champ, Garrett Maines. He is trying to make it back-to-back Fall Brawl championships. But in order to do that, he's got some work to do as they're trying to figure out the order here further back. Do they sort it out? Yes, they do. Here we go. Green flag in the air. A little bit of a stack up throughout the field, but overall looks like everybody's going to get a pretty good restart. It's a really good restart for Kyler Wynn, as a matter of fact. He's going to get clear to the top. He'll take it. Now he goes back to the bottom, though. John Ellis Jr., Dylan Basin, that's been a duo that's been working really well, Dawson. Can they push the 14 clear and then leave him out to dry?
Not going to get all the way clear of the 89. Let's see if the 14 jumps up to block. He's trying to take Ellis with him. Not going to work. He's got to make a late move. I don't think he wanted to bail on John Ellis right there, but Kyler Wynn had no choice. But that, again, kind of goes into not an egregious move. That was a well-timed block. He got up on the nose of Trevor Osborne. Oh, trouble lap back there trying to wreck. 4 wide back around Alex Hill. But I think they're all going to save it. Not Alex Hill, excuse me. That's Dylan Basin. But they're all going to save it. And now another situation. Here we go again. Top 6 lined up, but the caution flag is out.
Yeah, this is trouble out back. See the 49, Chris Melton, he's going for a slide. Garrett Maines showing signs that he may have been involved in this here. And yeah, he was. Big right front damage to the one machine of Garrett Maines. And he's going to have to, well, it looks like actually he'll be able to make it back to the pits, but he's certainly going to have to get some damage fixed, if not use that fast spare, assuming that he's still got it. So another wreck that's in the back half of the field here. Let's see what's going to spark this one up. Looks like Brock Westmoreland and Garrett Maines, the two cars that first get together here. And does Garrett come up? Let's see. Garrett's got a big run. And, oh, yeah, unless he got hooked by some netcode, it looked, at least from that first view, like Garrett may have came up here. Let's watch it from the cockpit view. And does he just react to a block from Jared Haynes? Oh, yeah. Well, there's a big stack up front. That's what it was. You saw that was right as you actually talked about kind of that chaos that happened up there, Dawson. And it looks to me that Garrett sees that. He sees a big checkup, and it just kind of makes a natural reaction to that. And obviously, when you make that reaction, you forget for a split second that, there could be somebody to your inside or outside. And in this case, Brock's there. Nothing Brock can do. And Once Garrett gets up into him, it turns this one car hard into the outside safety barrier. Garrett, major damage. Then you see Brock Westmoreland spinning down low.
Yeah, just a quick reaction by Garrett there to try to dodge what he thought was going to be an incident on the inside and just hadn't quite cleared Brock Westmoreland. It was very close. Oh, man, it's razor thin close. He almost got off the nose of the 4 and almost made that work, and I imagine everybody would have kept it straight. Just unlucky for Garrett. He just didn't quite time it right, but again, everything happens so fast in this car. You're assuming I'm clear, I'm going to be able to jump in front of him. He's not going fast enough, and you're just barely a foot off in your calculations, and Garrett Maines, that's a tough break for the one car.
Certainly is. We just talked about your Fall Brawl champion. Now he's going to be set even further back here. This next restart certainly has a lot of work he's got to do, but who knows? As many cautions as we've seen, I certainly wouldn't, I don't know. I wouldn't count him out of it just yet. We've seen Garrett make crazier comebacks, so let's see what happens here tonight. But as we go back up front, we've got Kyler Wynn leading the way. Trevor Osmernoth is in second. Daniel Falkingham third. Cody Nagels in fourth, with Chase Mastretta currently rounding out your top 5. While we're under caution, one thing we haven't had a chance to do is go back and talk about some of these drivers that we don't get the chance to, especially when you get the short green flag runs where you're just focused on all the chaos up front. So some of the drivers that are currently out of the race: Axel Smith, Christopher Carter, Chris Walker. Chris Melton is the first car that is not out of the race. He sits in 43rd. And then it's Quentin Steinbach, who sits in 42nd. Right now he is in the pits. Steinbach, one of the fan favorites, but a lot of damage. His chance of a win here tonight not going to happen with all the damage that he's gotten. Of course, no fast repair to show for it. Michael Miller, we've seen him kind of with a bit of a roller coaster night. He was involved in a few incidents. The 77, though, is out on track. The car looks to be pretty clean. From everything I can see, I certainly don't see any damage on it. So for Michael Miller here, he's going to have some work to do. Francisco Villarreal, we saw him up front at different points this race, currently sitting in the pits, getting that car worked on. Brock Westmoreland, after being involved in that last incident, he's in the pits. Tucker McClendon, 38th, trying to get something going. Garrett Maines, 37th. Then you've got Jonathan Herbert, who's in 36th right now. We saw him lead a lap or two earlier before getting spun around and involved in that incident. Kevin Winker, Ethan Eckert. And for Winker, I believe this might be his first PGR eSports start. One of the drivers that I get to broadcast in the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Xfinity Series, coming over here tonight to try to give it a shot. And so for Kevin Winker, see if he can make something happen. He's been able to keep the car clean all night. B. Floyd's been in a couple wrecks. Ken McCullough Jr. And I mean, Jeff Merck, Noah Lurch. I'm just looking at some of these names that I don't even know how to sum up their night because they've all just been chaos. Everybody's been to the front, the back, everywhere in between. And Dawson, with just 19 to go, it's not going to get any calmer.
Well, no, we talked about it last caution. I said the aggression was kind of already there. It was going to ramp up maybe a little, but it's kind of already at the level we're going to see it. It's just going to be a matter of, number one, who makes the right move at the right time, because you can time these moves so late. But number two, at this point, attrition. Who's going to have a car left? Who's going to have enough sheet metal left on their car to make it all the way back around? And also, kind of the X factor thing that I've noticed, again, what you mentioned, it, none of these wrecks have happened up front. Eventually that luck's going to run out. I don't think some of these guys that are making these moves up front are going to get away with these moves for very much longer. As the blocks get bigger, the moves get bigger, the desperation grows. One of these wrecks is going to be triggered up front, and it's just a matter of how many of these front-running guys get involved.
But you can't forget either, Dawson. I know me and Baker were talking about this earlier before you were able to, hop in the booth, was that new 210 rule. It's going to make it interesting on, do we see the same blocks? Do we see maybe not as aggressive of blocks? Because remember, if you go up and make a bad block with 210 that wrecks the field behind you, but you save it, then you're going to get penalized. So you got to certainly keep that in mind when you consider your blocks. Now, these cars, you can make pretty big blocks in, regardless of what steering ratio you're on. But, I mean, 19 laps to go. I know we're saying that it's kind of crunch time, but that's still a pretty decent amount of time at a super speedway. So you don't have to necessarily rush it just yet. You've still got some time to try to take it somewhat easy here, but if you're in the back at the same time, you got to make that mad scramble to the front. That way, if we start to get some more cautions, you've already got some track position. So I think that means that we're going to see the back half stay aggressive. Front half here might try to stay a little bit more organized and see if they can potentially try to create a single file group that pulls away from everybody else. We're getting ready to find out. All right, here we go. Pace car makes a left turn yet again as we finally wrap up your 10th caution of the night. And as they roll back into the Geico restart zone, Kyler Wynn We'll see the green flag back in the air with 18 laps to go at Talladega. And another big jump for the 14 car, Kyler Wynn. Is he going to jump up to the top of the racetrack? The answer is yes, he will. Kyler Wynn quickly to the high side as he'll now wait for Trevor Osnoff, his teammate, to pull toe. Oh, man. Oh, man, they're really stacking up top there. That was interesting. Kyler jumped back down. Trevor started to wash up, and then all of a sudden they started stacking up out back.
That's because Cody Nagels and Alex Hill tried to split Trevor out in no man's land, and Trevor said, no, thank you, sir. I'm going to keep my position and drop him on the nose, and Cody might have cut him a break. It might have just been his car. Cody, top to bottom, huge move by the 6. He goes right on the nose of Kyler Wynn. He'll go to the lead. Alex Hill went out to the pusher on Osborne. They got to get squared up. And does Kyler jump up? He does. Cody's going to block him. How far does he go? And the answer is up to the middle. Cody's got to drop to the help of his teammate Daniel Falkingham. And boy, don't look in the mirror if you're winner, Osborne. You got Nightmare Esports plastered all over this front 6.
Boy, Nagels and Kyler.
Good move for Kyler.
Yeah, they're getting into a pissing match right now, and they got to sort this out pretty soon, or else they're going to wreck. There they go. Out back.
Brian Hennings, big one.
Big one. This is it. This is the big one. Oh my goodness! Look at the amount of cars collected in this. We've got guys everywhere.
I only see 12 coming around without damage here on the backstretch.
Yep. Man. Well, it's just, I mean, it was just a matter of time before we had the actual big one. We had so many of these wrecks that only collected, 3 or 4. That one collected probably 10 to 15. Man. All right, well, let's go back, take a look at it. We've certainly got our fair share of practicing replay transitions here tonight. And so here we go. Where's this one going to start at? Is it a little bit further up? They get 4 wide here going into the corner, and the 45 is going to get into the 27 of Joshua McCullough, and I think that's where it's going to start. Let's see, though. Do they hold on? Yeah, they do, so it's actually further up. And one of the first cars that really got shot straight out of line there was... Let's see, who is that? That's the 04 of Matt Lee. That's who that is that gets shot pretty much straight out of line here. He's one of the first cars that kind of sparks this whole deal. Not saying he did anything wrong here. I'm just saying that was the first car that went sideways. So here we go. Back this up again. And we'll go to the chopper view. Let's see. Does he get some help from behind here? Watch Matt Lee. He's in the pink 04 on the roof there. You see the pink and silver 04. And it's just a stack up on the bottom. Lee's going to get turned up the track. He gets into York. Gets into Malik. Sends Malik into the outside wall. Logan York and them, they all get bundled up down the racetrack, and it's just on from there.
It actually started well before that when Kyler shuffled Cody out of line. Kyler then jumps on Cody's nose. Cody tries to go around him. Kyler has to resort to the bottom, and when Kyler goes back to the bottom, he's going so slow that when Falkingham hits him, it stacks up 5, 6, 7 cars deep, and there's nothing Matt Lee or John Ellis could do. They are completely innocent bystanders. That checkup, that stack up gets further back. It gets worse and worse and worse. And unfortunately for Matt Lee, it shoots him straight to his right. I mean, there's literally, you're holding the wheel. It probably ripped the wheel out of his hands. That's how hard he got shot to his right. And from there, track is completely blocked. Several guys involved big time. Hennings, John Mullihan got airborne. I mean, a lot of really good race cars. Like I said, only about 12 cars came around on the backstretch unscathed out of that one.
Yeah, it took out a lot of them. Big time hits. As they all eventually get through the smoke. I was trying to figure out if we saw anybody that actually kind of snuck through this wreck. I couldn't see any from that first view. We'll slow it down, though, for you here. You see Dylan Jones wheeling and dealing. He's trying to save it. I believe he does. So a really good save there by Dylan Jones. As for everybody else here, you're just trying to split the gap. I'm watching Eckert here in the 12. He may have been able to do so. You see all the smoke. Devin Ray almost. The 80 car, a little bit of contact. Eckert not quite able to get through. So, yeah. I mean, overall, nobody really made it through that one, at least on the racetrack, Dawson. It was either you had to check up and wait for them to slide down, or you had to go all the way to the grass and get through before they slid down. That was certainly a pretty big incident here to bring out what is now your 11th caution. And it's going to set us up now for what looks like a restart with about 12 or 13 laps to go.
Yeah, the laps dwindle, but it feels like an eternity if you're in the car because we just had caution after caution. So you have less laps, but the time continues to drag and drag and drag. And as a driver, you know, if you're 10th, 11th, 12th here, if you're a guy that's been towards the back, like Mike Davenport and Ash Rambilla, Jared Haynes, it's kind of just been hanging out. Now you realize, oh, well, it went from 30 laps to go to now I only have like 12 when we go back green, or 13, and your time has been cut in half, and you're seeing these guys wreck. You're like, well, I don't want to go to the front but now I have no choice. As a driver, this is a really tough spot to be in. If you're not in the first 2-3 rows, it's really tough. You see the wrecks happening, but you got to risk it. You got to get back to the front. You got to try to go win the race. And that's just the dilemma, especially as these laps dwindle down under caution.
I would agree. A very, very tough position to be in, to say the least. And right now, let's see if we get the one-to-go signal right here. But, 14, 13 laps to go. We get another caution after that. You're starting to get closer to knocking on the door of potentially going into an overtime. And that's when fuel could potentially become a little bit of a concern, but I think all these cautions have helped them out. So I think everybody should be okay. As they cross the line, Ozernoth will be scored as your leader. As the lights go off on the pace car, Alex Hill second. And the Gatorade 0 in 48 Chevy Camaro. And then you've got the 14 of Kyler Wynn back in third. Daniel Falkingham fourth. Freddie Bosnez fifth. Chandler Parsons back in sixth. Chase Mistretta in seventh. Cody Nagels, after that whole deal between him and Kyler Blocken, boy, how did he fall back to eighth?
I think it's just where he was scored when the caution came out. He just kind of got shuffled out when all that stuff happened with Kyler because they were going so slow on the bottom when he tried to push Kyler that there was not much he could do.
Certainly not. Man, how about, if I had to get a pick in tonight, I don't think I could pick one. There's just too many good names up here still. You can pick someone that you maybe would like to see win, and for me, that would be anybody that hasn't won yet. Just because you always like to see an underdog win, we'll have to see what happens. Maybe, I don't know, I guess you could vote for the pace car, potentially win the race, but after that,
I can tell you right now, there's only one car out here with a 0x, and his name's Kevin Winker. I think I'm going to jinx him, but he's the only one on track that has no incident points.
And so I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but for Kevin Winker, would he be guaranteed that $100 bonus then? If
100% he would. He would get the $50 bonus.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest, fellas. If I was Kevin Winker right now, if the way this race has been going, I'm dropping out of the pack.
I'm backing out.
Yeah, everyone else has an incident point, I'll take my $100. I will move on. That's a free entry fee into a couple more races. But man, that's a heck of a job for Kevin Winker, who we talked about earlier. We see him over in the league that I broadcast for on Fridays, and be good to see him take home that bonus here tonight. Kevin Winker, we're rooting for you. Hold it together up there on the high side in the 42. All right, here we go. Pace car gonna make that left turn. Nightmare eSports versus the Jack Shack. That's what the front row is. Ozernoth versus Alex Hill, as they will now work their way back into the tri-oval. And so 13 laps to go. Long ways before we'll get to that white flag to make this race official. So here we go. Green flag is back in the air. 13 laps to go at Talladega, and it's a good restart for the 89 of Trevor Ozernoth. You see the 14 of Kyler Wynn. He's going to drop all the way down to the bottom, the 48, and guess what? Look out back, Kevin Winker. He went right to the high side.
Right to the high side.
He's going to drop to the back here.
It ain't $50. It's $100.
$100, and Winker says, yeah, you guys go ahead and go race up there. I think I'll take my guaranteed money and go home with it. So up front, 2x2. The 14 of Kyler Wynn, not much help. It's just him and Bosnez on the inside. Up top, though, Ozernoth and Alex Hill are rolling. Big momentum into turn 3.
Yeah, but Trevor Ozernoth, he's a sitting duck here. He's got 3 Nightmare cars out back of him and 1 third on the inside. 4 of the Nightmare eSports drivers are at the front, and Landon Veliky's trying to work his way up as well. Ozernoth, Kyler Wynn, sitting ducks. Freddie Bosnez, good run for him as well right now as he tries to continue to work his way forward.
Whoa!
Oh, Kyler Wynn. Oh my goodness, how does he get away with that again?
Well, that's the positive side of 210 right there. When you make a save like that, Kyler's just riding here, and Freddie's just gonna, I think, get him a little bit offset. Yeah, Freddie gets a little bit offset right, hooks him, and then hooks him back left. Tell you what, that's when 210's a good thing right there, because it allowed Kyler to make that crazy save. Nice job by Kyler to keep it together, and now he's got to regroup and try to make a resurge back to the front. He's got to push from Veliky, Malik, and Garrett. Meanwhile, on the bottom, it's Bosnez, Jones, and Chase Mistretta. Now we're going to see the top shuffle down to the middle on the inside. Ozernoth gets left in the dust. Hill will go to the lead, and he's got 2 teammates behind him.
Watch Kyler Wynn. Kyler Wynn, huge drum. The push from Veliky. Wynn saves it again. 4 wide here for a moment. They're going to try to sort it out between Haynes and Bosnez and company right there. But they do. And now, don't look now. Ozernoth's got some help. Man, Kyler Wynn, he is all over the place. His wheels got to be in and out of his hands. This is craziness. Trouble out back. Mike Davenport.
Oh, huge hit. One almost up and over. Another big hit. 2 big hits right there. Connor Cunningham was one of them. Nashburn Bill, I think, might have been the other. Yep. Yeah, you said it for Kyler Wynn there. He kept getting out of shape. It's because nobody would hit him square. And man, he was able to hold on. He might be, I mean, I know he's not going to be happy that he lost all the positions, but he might be glad to see that caution. He's going to need a break after all the crazy saves he had made right there. Man, to the 25 of John Mullahan, he's going to go around. Brumbilla's going to try his best here to limp this thing around to the pits. Not have to worry about using a fast burst. So here we go. I mean, this was pure chaos. We'll back this up a little bit further for you, see if the chopper view can do it justice and show the entire field here. All right, so watch up front. Kyler is getting pushed out of shape all sorts of ways, and this was the last caution, so we'll go back to the most recent one here and show you from this view. All right, so here we go. Davenport gets turned into one, but again, we talked about this chaos has been going on all the way back from about the trial. You see Kyler Wynn, he's sideways right there. Malik, his teammate, got him a little out of shape, and watch it right there. Malik's going to turn just a little bit. They're stacking up out back. Davenport goes all the way to the bottom. The 45 goes on the apron, and then just 45, it comes back up right there, just collects Davenport. Nothing Mike was really doing wrong, and for the 45 there, that's Dalton Steele. I think just, again, not really, I don't know if he misjudged the speed that he had coming back up or thought that there was going to be a little bit more room by the time he came up, but sometimes you gotta do that extra look to the right if you got the D-pad arrows on just to make sure there's nobody up there. But once Davenport gets collected here, well, hold on, let me look at this first. Yeah, right there. Once the 27 gets shot up, Brambilla just gets hooked, and that thing goes just about airborne once he hits the fence. And in fairness to Dalton Steele, when you get turned like that, you have so much speed that even though the apron is banked, it's still really, really tough to keep it down there. So he may have been trying everything he could and fortunately just couldn't quite hold it down there long enough. But the bad part of this wreck, Dawson, was when the 55 came up. Those were two massive hits. First one for the 23 of Brambilla, who, as we said, almost rolled up and over. And then the 84 of Cunningham, who's going to get back down into York and turns himself into the wall. He also gets airtime from this one.
Yeah, another tough break, and I think another one that kind of started with something we've seen all night, and that's a stack-up that works its way back and gets worse. And again, it's Kyler Wynn, and it's not any fault of Kyler's. It's just he's getting hit off center. He's going slow. The guys around him are trying to avoid him. It's slowing the lines down, and as it gets row after row after row, it gets more and more and more just, quick to react to. You have less time the further back that checkup goes to get in the brakes, to move out of the way, and unfortunately the luck runs out for guys back around Mike Davenport. Really tough break for he and Brambilla. A couple of really big hits, Cunningham as well. And again, it's a matter of these cars. The runs happen so fast that when Kyler gets out of shape and guys around him get out of shape, guys behind him don't have much time to react, and unfortunately another multi-car incident caused by that.
Absolutely. Well, we are now within 10 laps to go. We're going to be going back green with probably 7 laps to go. So before we get to that point, we're going to go take a quick break to gear up for what is going to be a crazy sequence to take us all the way to the finish. So we'll head to break, but we'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us here at Talladega.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. So before we do, I want to bring up another driver here for an interview, one that's had a pretty crazy night himself. And that is Trevor Oswernoth. Dawson Wise is going to be standing by with him here once we can bring him up. So let's see if we can get Trevor up here. All right.
The booth, you got a copy?
Brother, you always know I got a copy.
Well, crazy one, chaotic, and you've been up front for most of it, and until now, you really haven't had a ton of help. Now you got one teammate. What's the racing feel like inside the car? Because from up here, it is complete chaos.
It is. Hopefully you can get the run going into the tri-oval and they wreck behind you. That's exactly what's happening right now. So, I don't know. It's been pretty crazy up here. I knocked Devin out the way. I got Jared here a little bit. Just been hitting teammates all night. So I'm hoping maybe I could hit some other cars and get them out the way and then maybe win this race, because that's probably what's going to happen here. Just watch for it, because we're going to die again and again until the last lap. And it's going to be interesting, though. It's going to be a good-ass race. So let's just see what happens here, man.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We'll let you get back to work behind the wheel of the 89. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we're talking to you after this thing is over.
Hell yeah, brother. Y'all stay for the show. Let's see what happens.
All right, here we go, gearing up to go back green. It's going to be 7 laps to go here at the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway to decide your 2024 Fall Brawl champion. Don't forget what those payouts are looking like. $500 to the winner here tonight, so they're going to stay aggressive. But here we go, green flag in the air. 7 laps to go. McClendon further back with a little bit of a stack up on the restart, but it doesn't look like it's going to affect anybody up front. Everybody is off to the races, though, nice and clean. Alex Hill in the 48 leads the bottom. He's got a nightmare teammate and a Coke Series driver. The 54, Daniel Falkingham up top. There's Trevor Oswernoth with a big push to the 54. He's going to try to see if he can push them both clear off of turn number 2, and he will. Big run down the backstretch for the Jack Shack.
Watch out back. Kyler Wynn, Malik Ray, and Garrett Maines coming through the middle. Contact from the Nightmare cars. 4 wide with Malik and Cody for a moment, but they sort it out. Malik and Kyler shot out of a cannon. They're all of a sudden just outside the top 5 and rolling forward with just 7 laps to go. They kind of split up the Nightmare party here at the front and kind of split them way up. Oh, trouble. Around goes Kenny McCullough. He's down pit road. He got off Triscaro. I don't know if there's going to be a caution flag for now. Still green. Falkingham leads, 6 laps to go.
We had just been talking about the Ken McCullough Jr. was the other driver in position for the money. Another one off out back here. See if they can hold this together. Oh, back up the track. No, of course. Oh, man, hold on to it. Devin Ray sliding sideways. Does he save it? It looks like he does.
Dylan Basin getting turned right in front of the field. Trouble. Dylan Basin's around the backstretch, and a couple cars went with him.
This is a mess. I can't even keep the cameras everywhere because they've been almost wrecking all over the place. John Ellis Jr.'s torn up, and he's going to get T-boned. Kevin Winker just did a wheelie. He's going to be out of the money now. Oh, my goodness. Wow. All right. Let's go back. Let's go back and look at it here. I'm running out of things to say. We don't have a script up here in the booth. We try to talk about what's happening in the race, and when they're not racing, eventually we run out of stuff to talk about. So let's go back here and try to break down how this one happened first, and then see if we can, head up front and try to gear up for another restart. This is, I hate to say it, Dawson, because I like each one of these guys out here, but this is ridiculous. We've got some of the best drivers in the field here in terms of, you look at iRating, and just to be having this every single lap, it seems like sooner or later, something's got to change. But either way, a lot of money on the line. What can you do? And looks like there, Basin, he's clear to the bottom, so he makes the move, and then right as he gets down here, Logan York's got a massive run out back with Nagels pushing in tow, and York's saying, well, I got the run here, and well, actually there's nothing York can do because he's getting pushed by Nagels. And once they get to Basin, they hit him. It gets him sideways, overcorrects into the outside, and then once he gets back down, he gets into Cody Nagels, a couple others, and looks like the wreck's on from there.
Yeah, it looked like another product of kind of similar things that we've seen all night. I hate to be a broken record, but how many times can we explain a wreck the same way? Well, between the pushes, between the stack ups, it is constantly the same situation over and over and over again. And some of these guys have yet to learn it, yet to figure it out. And unfortunately, we're going to continue to work under the caution flag until they do. And now the laps have dwindled down inside of 5. Yeah, for Basin, for Nagels, that's a tough break. They're going to have to come get damage fixed, or worst case, take a fast repair at this point. What do you have to lose? Might as well go ahead and take the fresh car, considering what's going to happen up front on this next restart. But a tough break, but again, it could have been a lot bigger. When Basin first got turned, I thought he was going to his right, and if he goes to his right, that's a dozen cars, 15 cars, or more that we're all going to pile into that one. So we got lucky to avoid a bigger one because Basin went to his left instead of his right.
I'm looking right there. That was a heck of a save by Alex Hill. A heck of a reaction, as a matter of fact, to miss that one when they both went spinning. But I want to show you this again here because John Ellis Jr., one of the cars who had been having a great night up to this point, got collected. But what was interesting is he hits the inside wall, and then somehow he's going to roll all the way back up here. Notice how he hits the inside wall, and then just right here, just kind of tries to roll back around like a J-turn. He disappears, but then he reappears, so Kevin Winker had never actually saw him. Kevin Winker saying to himself, okay, he's gone. I'll just go ahead and drive through here and continue on. All of a sudden, the 14 reappears, and then Winker's got nowhere to go, which is a tough break because for Kevin Winker, we had initially... And here, you know what? Here's basically what happened. This was kind of something that we developed and found out over break. Look at this. Winker's like, okay, the 14, there you go. He's gone. All right. Slowing down. And then all of a sudden, the 14 just reappears right in front of him last second. I mean, just... God, how bad of a break can you get if you're Kevin Winker right there? That totals his car, so he'll have to go take a fast repair. And what we had been talking about, Dawson, and this makes it even more interesting, is it was initially Winker was good to go. All he had to do was not get an X. He's going to get $100, but then he accidentally got walled on one of the cautions, not of his doing. So then it became a race between him and Ken McCullough Jr. of just don't get an incident. Whichever driver doesn't would get the money. Well, then Ken gets spun by himself before that caution. So now it's back to Winker, and then Winker gets a bad break after the caution when John Ellis Jr. blinks back on track. So I don't even know who's in the running for the $100 anymore. All I know right now... Kenny. All right, so there you go. So Kenny's still in it then as at the moment.
He has 8 incident points. The next closest is 12. All he has to do is just ride. Absolutely ride.
That's saying a lot tonight, though.
I don't know.
I'll have to see what he does, but see if we get the white flag right here. Get this race back going green.
We had a record for incident points. Ethan Eckert, first race back in PGR. If you wanted to take a guess how many incident points you guys think he has?
I'm going to say 52.
I'm going to say 24.
Wow. Dawson, pretty close on it. We're at 58.
Wow.
58 incident points. Logan York with a close second at 46.
That's a eventful night.
I didn't know you could get 58 points.
Logan York has 46 incident points. By the way, he's running P9 on track right now. He's going to restart inside row number 5. He could win with almost 50 incident points. Guys, that'd be a PGR first. It might be a PGR last.
All right, well, yeah, hopefully it's a PGR last, that's for sure. But either way here, so I believe it's going to be our first natural green-white checkered. I don't think this is going to count as an overtime. So 2-lap shootout. Got to make it to the white flag for this race to be official. Trevor Osranoff, one of the fan favorites, one of the Jack Shack drivers, leads the outside. Daniel Falkingham, one of the Coke Series drivers, looking for his first PGR win on the inside. And you've got Chase Mastretta alongside Freddie Bosnes, row 2. Chandler Parsons, Dylan Jones back in row 3. Kyler Wynn and Brian Hennings in row 4. And then Malik Ray and Logan York back in row number 5. So, now it's time. Lock in your votes. Who do you got winning this race? I think it's anybody's guess at this point, but 2 laps to go. If we can make it to that white flag, all bets are off. Earlier predictions from some of the broadcast crews that we are going to see a massive wreck on the last lap. We'll see if that holds true with some of the chaos we've seen tonight. But we've also said before, a good finish can erase pretty much how you remember an entire race. I mean, if we get a photo finish and a clean one at that, we might forget all about some of the chaos that we've had up to this point. So here we go. Time to find out. Can we make it 1 lap under green to make this race official? It's going to be Daniel Falkingham, Trevor Osranoff that will lead him back into the Geico restart zone. Again, Osranoff has won in this car before, and Tucker McClendon into the outside wall right there. I don't know what that was, but either way, 31's going to stay outside. They're trying to figure it out. Here we go. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. And it's a little bit of a stack up further back. Can they all sort it out here? Francisco Villarreal maybe misses a gear. He's going to get split in the middle. Meanwhile, up front, though, Falkingham quickly up to the high side. He'll take over the point from Trevor Osranoff. The 4 Bosnes and the 26 of Jones on the bottom, but it's just those 2. Can they tandem up and stay together long enough to hold even with this top lane?
Either win, Malik Ray, Garrett Maines out back. They're going to go to the middle, and they're not out of this yet. Here come the 5 and the 14. They bring York, they bring Hennings. Bazinez up to block. What a massive move for the Bushlight Ford. He blocked Kyler and ended his run. Falkingham leads on the banking of 3 and 4. As they come off turn 4, he may very well just lead to the white flag, looking for PGR win number 1. But a couple guys out back looking to spoil the party as they head towards the white flag.
And can they make it? There's the big question. Here we come through the tribal. A lot of chaos out back, but it looks like they are going to make it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go at Talladega. Daniel Falkingham leads the way. Can he find victory lane for the first time at PGR in the Fall Brawl?
Falkingham going to have tandem from Osronaut. The Osronaut's got to be careful here and not go too early. They can't tandem away too quickly, or they're going to let Mistretta and Parsons back into this. Malik Ray, Alex Hill looking on, as well as Jared Haynes. Plenty of guys out back that may just get a run. Osronaut, I think he went, well, I don't know, because they can't get organized out back. He may not have gone too early. To the bottom, Ray and Hill. Just a 2-car tandem. Osronaut's going to go on their nose, and we're going to have a drag race all the way home off 4.
What a move by Osbornaut, but is he going to be able to stay connected? Oh, they're going to wreck out back. They go around up front. Falkingham, can he hold on? Another big run to the bottom. Nobody's got enough. Daniel Falkingham's going to get his first career win in PGR.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 5 for Nightmare Esports. You don't see the team games working well in PGR, but I mean the executed move from Trevor Osronoff, going to the bottom to get hooked up with Malik Ray. Falkingham getting a great push from Chase Mistretta. That's all you can ask for out of turn 4 there. That was great moves.
Yeah, it was, and man, for Osronoff, I agree. That was, I'll tell you what, if I was in that car, I would have did the exact same move. It was just going to be a question of could they stay connected when the help faded out back, and unfortunately the answer was no, they could not. But man, a heck of an effort by Osronoff, and a heck of a win too by Falkingham. I mean, this is another driver who really didn't do anything egregious all night. He just stayed patient, stayed calm, stayed at the front, and he is up. He finished 40 positions ahead of where he started this race from. And Baker, correct me if I'm wrong here, but does he also get the $50 hard charger or no?
$50 hard charger should actually go to him. We should review that. I think it does go to the top or most positions gained by a non-PGR winner, so that's an extra $50 to him.
Man, $550 after official review could be taken home by Daniel Falkingham if all goes to plan, and Nightmare Esports is doing a multi-car burnout here on the front stretch for good reason. They take home victory, and we'll go back and look at the results here, the finish in just a moment, but let's first take a look at the finishing results here tonight. Alex Hill is being scored as a race winner, but that was for qualifying. I was going to say that's certainly not correct, so let's go ahead and get things shifted over. And so Daniel Falkingham scored as your race winner here tonight. Chase Mistretta second, Alex Hill in third, with Jared Haynes back in fourth, Matt Lee in fifth, Trevor Osronoff in sixth after the heartbreaking end to his race. Kyler Wynn finishes seventh, Brian Hennings in eighth, with Logan York in ninth, and Garrett Maines rounding out your top 10.
Landon Velicki goes 11th tonight. Dylan Jones in 12th. Michael Triscaro 13th. Mike Davenport 14th. Freddie Bazinez in 15th. Ethan Eckert 16th. Chandler Parsons 17th. Josh McCullough in 18th. John Mullahan 19th. And Jeff Merck rounds out the top 20.
Jonathan Herbert finishes in 21st. Tucker McClendon 22nd. Noah Lurch finishes 23rd, with John Ellis Jr. 24th. Dalton Steele back in 25th. And then it looks like back in 26th. And actually, you see right there on the bottom, Daniel Falkingham decided to tune into the driver cam, and he picked a good time to do it. He was pumped up. Wish we could have got his reaction right at the finish, but either way, we'll get more on him in just a moment as we continue through your finishing results here tonight. I'm not sure where I stopped, so we'll just go ahead and start 26. Back at 26. All right, so Sierra Clampert, and then 27th, Cody Nagels, with Brock Westmoreland 28th, Dylan Basin 29th, and Connor Cunningham rounding out your top 30.
Larry McDonald 31st, Devin Ray 32nd, James Wagoner in 33rd, Austin Floyd 34th, Francisco Villarreal in 35th, Kenny McCullough in 36th, so they might be going away with some money, we'll see. Malik Ray in 37th, Michael Miller 38th, Nash Rambilla 39th, Kevin Winker 40th, and I'll just run through the rest of the field real quick. 41st, Chris Melton, 42nd, Quentin Steinbach, 43rd, Evan Carlbon, 44th, Chris Walker, 45th, Chris Carter, and 46th, and finally, Axel Smith.
All right, before we go grab your top three for interviews, let's go back and just watch one more replay of this finish. And man, you talked about a good move. Out of all the bad moves we've seen here tonight, I feel like This was a good one for Trevor. I mean, he timed it up perfect. He had enough momentum that when he went down, the block wasn't going to kill everybody, but at the same time, it was enough to where he could get a push. The problem, I think, here for Trevor, and I think we get a completely different result if this isn't the case, is that Alex Hill was the car behind Malik. And as soon as Trevor goes down, Alex has the choice to go up and push 2 Nightmare Esports teammates or stay down and push 2 Jack Shack drivers. I think that was a pretty obvious decision at that point who he was going to go with. But then right here out back, Parsons just not really able to ever square up Alex Hill and ends up sending Parsons into the wall. You see Malik Ray spin down low. Trevor's going to get back on track, but unfortunately at this point, just doesn't have any help out back, and he's just scrambling to try to hold on for whatever he can. Gets passed by 2 more at the end. But it's Daniel Falkingham who brings home his first ever win in PGR. And boy, we have not seen him make all that many starts. So for Falkingham to grab his first win this early on shows you how dangerous of a driver he could potentially be here in the near future. But he is your Fall Brawl champion. And so with that, we're going to go grab your top 3 for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Talladega. All right, welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to start first here tonight with your 3rd place finisher and one of the podium finishers for Nightmare Esports as they swept the podium, and that was Alex Hill. Alex, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, man, I think a lot of people are going to probably think that you played a big role in who won this race because you had to make the decision. Once Osronoth went low, what was the mindset? Did you know that if you went up top, you were going to be lined up behind 2 teammates?
Yeah, I was looking at them the entire time. I just knew I had to get there somehow. And then once I saw that when he went down, because I knew he was going to go with Malik, I went behind Chase there and pushed our team to the victory. But yeah, I pretty much saw the setup and I figured I had to push Malik low if we were going to get anywhere. If I was going to have a chance to win it, but we couldn't win it. But we got Nightmare 1, 2, 3, 5.
Yeah, absolutely. A phenomenal finish for not just you, but the team as well. And I mean, we saw you involved in an incident there kind of in the latter half of the race. Thought maybe that would pin you far back. How did you manage to recover from that and get up to the front, even through all the chaos and all the cautions we kept having?
Yeah, big thank you to Ethan Eckert. He was following me the whole way through there. I went from 30th to 11th in like 2-3 laps, and it was a blast. So just following the runs, taking the runs at the right time, pretty much how we got it done.
And a great finish for you here tonight with that 3rd place finish. So before we let you go to celebrate your winnings and enjoy the podium with your teammates, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you to everybody over at Nightmare Esports. Thank you to you for broadcasting this by yourself. It was probably a long race, about 2-hour race. So long broadcast for you. And thank you to Mike and Baker for putting this thing on.
And Alex, thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on the 3rd place finish. And we will see you hopefully next week.
Thank you.
All right, now that will bring us up to your 2nd place finisher here on the night, and that is Chase Mistretta for Nightmare Esports. Dawson Wise stands by with him.
Hey, Chase, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, look, a heck of a run for you. Obviously, a heck of a run for the team as well for Nightmare Esports. So, look, a chaotic one tonight. So, obviously, the first thing we got to ask is take us through the entire night for you, a complete roller coaster for so many drivers, and you being included on your way to your best career PGR finish.
Man, early, we started in the back. There was 3 or 4 of us in the back. So every time there was a caution, we took the pit, just took the gas. We wanted to have enough gas in case it went green. Spectacle. But, you know, I don't know. Sorry, Dawson. Kind of hyped up right here. Lost for words right now. Really happy me and Falkingham got our podium tonight. So we're in the championship race now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of it as well. A couple of new drivers locked in towards the end of the year. Last race start, obviously there's a lot of teammates up front, but it took you guys a second to get organized. Take us through the communication. What was the communication like for Nightmare Esports on that entire last lap to get you guys lined up to finish 1 through 3?
I'll be quite honest. Didn't really think anything. Like, me and Dan were the only ones working together right there at the end. The guys in the back were just trying to get up there and get with us and help us. My whole plan was to eventually get linked up with Falkingham. I knew Trevor would at some point leave when Falkingham got up in front of him, and I would just fill the gap. No lifted Falkingham coming out of 4. It got really hairy. Some people got wrecked. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I was glad the boys at Nightmare could get it done tonight.
An impressive effort. An impressive effort for you as well. Again, a career best finish of 2nd tonight, your first podium here in PGR Esports. So before we let you go, celebrate and enjoy it, obviously, with your teammates. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Shout out Falkingham. Good run tonight, dog. I was pretty much on the same strategy with him all night long. Cody, Matt, Dawson, thank you. Austin, thank you. Baker, thank you. Landon, thank them. Everybody at Nightmare.
Go
Baker. Baker, you're an asshole, but I love you.
Hell yeah.
Chase, go enjoy the win. Go celebrate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, and now that'll bring us up to your final podium finisher, but not just a podium finisher, now officially a winner. He's got the job done before in the Coke Series, and now he's got the job done in the PGR eSports Intimidator Super Speedway Series. Your 2024 Fall Brawl winner, Daniel Falkingham. Daniel, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do, fellas.
Well, you get the job done here tonight. Man, you haven't been racing all that long over here at PGR. How does it feel to get your first win and a $500 one at that?
Yeah, man. I feel like I've definitely had a good shot to win the last couple, even dating back to the last 2 races. Even last weekend, we got shuffled out at the end. But it feels good to be able to get one and say I've won one of these events now, and it was a big one too. So, it feels great. And we had to hold them off there at the end. I know these races always get crazy, and they always have a lot of cautions. But thankfully, we stayed out of all the mess, and we hung on there. But man, it feels good to finally get one. I feel like we've been trying to get one the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were working with some of the Nightmare Esports guys tonight. Looked like the chemistry was really good, especially at the end. How do you kind of help coordinate it to set it up to be a 1-2-3 finish there at the end?
A bunch of wrecks and just hope you get lucky, I guess. But man, the guys over at Nightmare, they've kind of brought me in as one of their own. Just I've seen someone was wanting me to race this a couple of weeks back, so I decided, heck, why not come in and race? And those were guys that reached out to me, wanted to work with me, and I've been working with them. They've been really good to me. I've been good to them. Really good people. So I got to shout out Chase, Sean, Cody, Matt, and so many other guys too. So man, they're really awesome people. Glad I get to work out with them, and I'm glad they were all able to get some good finishes, because we didn't exactly coordinate that, but it just all worked out where we got a 1, 2, 3, and 5, I guess, right there. So they're awesome people to work with, and I'm glad to have my back.
Absolutely. Well, hey, to cap off your first win over here at PGR, before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Just thank Michael, thank the whole crew that runs the show over here. Thanks to everyone who comes on races to make these races possible. And like I said, thanks again to the Nightmare guys for bringing me in. They wanted to work with me, so I want to work with them. And like I said, they brought me in as one of their own, I guess. So, just thanks to those guys so much for giving me in that spot. Wouldn't be there without them. And, thanks to you guys for broadcasting, and thanks to everyone who watched.
Daniel, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the win. Go enjoy the money. Go celebrate with your teammates, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, fellas. Y'all have a good Thanksgiving.
You as well. All right, that's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight. Crazy race it was, but again, we get a surprising finish. This time it's in the form of a new winner over here at PGR. Daniel Falkingham gets the job done. Man, it's a crazy race. What did you think of it, Dawson?
It's chaos. This car is chaos. I love it. I've always loved this car. It's been one of my favorites for a long time, but this is kind of what comes with it. It's the territory of being chaotic, and that's exactly what it was. And the last lap, the wreck wasn't quite as big as I had initially thought it was going to be, but they did have some chaos on the last lap as well, and It ends in a new winner. Daniel Falkenham, he's been around the block in super speedway racing, but had yet to get to victory lane in PGR. He can check that one off of his achievements list, off of his bucket list now, as he gets the job done tonight.
Absolutely. All right, well, that's going to do it for our coverage here tonight of the Fall Brawl from Talladega Superspeedway. Again, want to thank the sponsor of the 2024 Fall Brawl, and that is James Wagner's Welding, for everything that he does. And again, we'll be starting a series with them that'll be broadcasted here on PGR eSports. So that'll be Roughneck Racing, and I believe that'll start next Wednesday. Stick around for more on that. But again, that's it for tonight. So as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed, and until next time, that's it for me, Austin Green, alongside Dawson Wise and Matthew Baker on PGR eSports. Have a good night.